Open your mind. Your mind. Your mind. Your mind.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
And so a community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, see, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost at $1 billion. Three PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hears these sirens and looks in the mirror and sees this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, Paul. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you. With all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Why do you think you never pick up the paper until you read over and over and see white families? You think it's thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops got my loved one 40 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are that? You think they're more spiritual? Think they're better? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, if we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that anytime a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license, just like if you drive a car. And if you use it wrongly, you'll lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to protect you? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law, if we call them for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it'll start on Thanksgiving. Well, let me tell you what that means. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Fifth Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Westinghouse. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
Happy. San Antonio, Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Clear suspect down 10-4. 10-4. The officer's code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your mind. Your mind. Your mind. Your mind.
And peace, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the Prophet of Thought series right here on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you Negroes knew that already. That's why your black asses are here. Tonight, got a brother on tonight that I have a lot of respect for, the one and only brother Ramil AMYR will be in the houses. As y'all can see down below this here video, we will be talking about the Black Criminality versus Police Brutality. But before we get started, y'all know I always start the stream off with thanking you good folks out there and you good folks in here for all that you do, man. I mean, because you don't got to watch these damn videos. You don't have to show up to these damn streams. You don't have to like, share, or subscribe. And you definitely don't have to drop your hard-earned pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and 50-cent pieces and silver dollars. But you good folks choose to do so, man. You choose to do it. And I don't take you good folks lightly, man. I never have, and I never will. And I want you to know, man, that I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I'm appreciative, man, for all you good folks, man, and everything that y'all do, man. And I just want y'all to know, man, that I appreciate all of y'all. All right? All right. So let's get at it. The guest of honor is here. Let me bring in my folk. Brother Ramil.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, what's good, man? You know, I hit your phone, right? I was like, damn, I got to call, brother.
Oh, you called me? My bad. I didn't even know you. I just seen it. Yeah, my bad. I got 3 phones, man. Okay, my bad, man. Yeah, I'm here though.
Yeah. So tonight, well, actually, let me start this way, because tonight we were actually supposed to be doing a debate between Bernard Riley and brother Supreme King.
What happened with that? What happened
SKC.
with that?
Well, they both hit me up and they were like, you know, they wanted to push it off to next week. So they left a hole in the schedule. So, you know, me, I'll pivot and do some other shit. So, you know, I said I hit up Brother Ramil, see if he want to do something. And I knew this was a good topic to go ahead and talk about. So let's go ahead and let's get right at it. Now, you of all people know that in the last few weeks, there's been quite a spike of brothers, you know, getting shot by the police. I believe even a teenage girl was shot by the police last week. And all this stuff kind of connects to, you know, if we want to go into George Floyd, the Derek Chauvin trial, you know, so on and so forth. So there is a narrative out there that the killings of Black people is an epidemic, right? But often when we talk about the killings of Black people, police brutality, we often hear pushback. And the pushback is, well, you know, what about the quote unquote black on black crime? So tonight, I want to put those two against one another. And what I want to do is I want to see which one is actually worse for us or worse in general. So what's your take on it when we talk about Black criminality versus police brutality?
So I will say this, as ironic as it sounds, I guess I am a former quote unquote criminal, according to the law. So I just find it ironic how, you know, I got to come with this position being on the opposite side of what people are going to think based on my background. You said there was a spike in killings. And I would say that there's been a spike in media coverage of police killings. The media is very powerful. They can single out any situation and blast it because they have control of the airwaves like that. And so I don't think there's been a higher spike of police killing Blacks. I think it's been a higher spike of media coverage because of sensationalism. It brings money in, you know what I'm saying, when they can cover these type of stuff, because you get people's emotions riled up. That equals more people tuning in and more money. If you want to talk about which one is worse, clearly the black on black crime is worse than the police brutality. The numbers say it, our situation says it, and you know, we got all this energy going towards police brutality, but it's not changing Black people's situation at all. you know, because that's not a priority. That's not one of our main problems. You take away police brutality right now, nothing in the black neighborhoods will change. You're still going to have messed up economics. You're still going to have people acting a fool. You're still going to have all these other issues, the single motherhood rate, all these other issues going on that has nothing to do with police brutality. I think police brutality and us like really complaining about it is a way for us to escape the problems that we cause for ourselves. Like I said, you look at the numbers. Police kill about 1,000 people a year, right? Police come across 50, 60 million people, 50, 60 million encounters every year, but that's not a lot. That's pretty good. It's like a 0.00001% rate. Nothing's going to be perfect. A plane crash every once in a while. So it's like, you know, clearly if you want to talk about what's worse, it's going to be the black on black crime. Because if you're talking about things that are ending in death, which at the end of the day, a black life is being taken, it happens higher on the black on black side than the police side. You know, so I'll start with that.
So do you think that we as black folks, Brother Ramil, do you think that we overblow the whole, and I'm not just talking about us as a people, I'm talking about society in general. Do you think that we're overblowing the whole police brutality thing? Are we overblowing it?
Hell yes. Like I said, it's the new thing right now. It's the cool thing to talk about. It's the cool thing to complain about. Everybody's looking for something to complain about. Like I said, you look at the numbers, police, and I'm not pro police. I'm really not. But if you just look at the numbers, it's not happening like that. Like the data, we can look at the data over and over. Like I said, they kill on average about 1,000 people a year. Like I said, they're not perfect. They're humans. Police lie a lot. I had to bust police out in court a lot of times with their lies, you know. But as far as like the police brutality, if you look at the numbers, it's just not significant. And then when you also look at the victims of quote unquote police brutality, a lot of times they're nothing as people. They're people who come across the police a lot of times anyway. So you keep coming across the police, something's going to happen. When I was out in my previous lifestyle, that's when I had the most encounters with the police. That's when I had the most encounters with the police. As soon as I say, you know what, forget this, I'm not going to be grinding on the streets no more, my police encounter rate went down like 90-some%. You know, so yes, it's overblown because it's a cool thing to complain about. Now you got white people. You got white people now complaining about police brutality. You know, it's hilarious. And police ain't not messing with no white people. But guess who's talking about defund the police and all that? That's white folks. You know what I mean? Because black people make everything cool. While white folks jumping on the train. Yes, it's way overblown. The last thing an average black person has to worry about who's not a criminal or not engaged in criminal activity, and I say that very loosely because in my mind, a real crime is only a crime with the victim, but that's another story. If you just look at the average black person living his life does not have to worry about a police encounter or getting killed by the police. It's just not happening. So yeah, it's overblown. It's overblown a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about black criminality. Let's jump from police brutality to black criminality. Do you think that we aren't focused on that enough? Are we minimizing the criminality in our own society as black folks?
Well, if the goal is to say, hey, I want to see a better quote unquote community for black people, if that's the goal, which I don't know if that'll ever happen, then yes, we are minimizing it. That's the cause of most black male or black deaths when it comes to murder and homicide. It comes from the hands of another black person. So if the black life is the thing we're talking about and the black lives being taken away, that comes from the hands of other blacks. You look at the statistics. Now, people will say, hey, black on black crime, that's proximity crime. That's not black on black crime. That's just regular crime. Everybody commits crime. People live around them. That is true. But also black on black proximity crime is 8 times higher than the white on white crimes. All right. You know what I'm saying? 52% of the homicides are committed by black people, specifically black men. And this is something we got to talk about. If we really worried about black people's lives being taken away, then yeah, we definitely minimize it. Matter of fact, we ignore it. The kids get killed, the babies getting shot. Nobody gonna march for that. So you're gonna march and cause all this destruction for a crackhead who got maybe got killed by the police. Well, according to the law, he did. But then when the infants get blown, their head, their wig peeled off, ain't no energy towards that. So yes, we minimize it, and that's why we haven't made any progress in the past century or more, because we don't want to be accountable and address what we're doing wrong. You know, when I was in my previous lifestyle, if I would have got popped by the police and I seen y'all marching, I would have, my spirit, I would have been looking at y'all like, yo, what the hell are y'all doing? Y'all better quit this silly stuff. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, productive citizens is what pushes people forward, you know, and you know, we got to focus on the productive people. So the productive people don't really got to worry about this type of stuff. That's just the truth. So yes, we do minimize this, and until we actually try to take accountability for it and actually find a solution, which is you gonna have to go head up with Pookie and Ray Ray, but most people don't want to do that. That's another reason why we minimize black on black crime, because people ain't ready to stand up to Pookie because they know Pookie will pull up.
Mm-hmm.
They know Pookie ready. So
Pookie
it's easier.
got that 9.
Exactly. He ain't no rules for him. So it's easier to go after the police who ain't really causing that much trouble. And because police can't just pull up on you and pop you, contrary to popular belief. Pookie don't give a damn.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, let me play devil's advocate for a moment. And what do you say to the people who say, well, you know, Brother Ramil, you say that, but you know, these are the police. They're trained. They're not supposed to be shooting us. You know, it's not like you can't compare that to what we do to each other. These people are the police. They're supposed to have better assessment skills, et cetera, et cetera. What do you say to those people who say that?
I would say it's BS, because if you're going to look at it like that, the police are doing a pretty good job. The past year, there's only been 10 clearly unjustified killings from the police. Now, you can say, oh, it should be 0. Nobody's perfect. Police are humans too. A plane gonna crash every once in a while. You know, nothing's perfect. So the police has 10 unarmed, unjustified killings of black people in the past year. A lot of times when they do use excessive force, a lot of times, you know, not going to say it's 100% justified, but you can't give them a reason. They got to think in split-second decisions. I think we forget that. The police don't have time in a lot of situations to say, hey, you know, let me think this over. A lot of times it's a split second. A lot of times they got to worry about their life too. And like I said, I'm not pro-police, but I understand humans and humanity. Those split-second decisions, you got to be... If you don't like the job they're doing, go do it yourself. The police we put too much. You're telling the police, actually, the Supreme Court says the police only job is to arrive after the scene and clean it up. It's not the police job to have your best interests at heart. That's what the Supreme Court says. You know what I'm saying? That's not their job to protect you, to make sure you live. Their job is to make sure society is operating orderly, and after the crime is taking place, to come and clean things up. You know what I mean? So it's like, where do you get this from where the police are supposed to be your friend? You know, if you're doing some messed up stuff, don't provoke them. They got the upper hand. So that's what I have to say to that. The police, you can hold them to a higher standard, but if you're going to do that, the numbers say they're doing pretty good. But two, here's the thing. It's like black people want to be able to do whatever, not get chastised, or they want to be able to do what the white person did. Oh, the police brought that white dude in. He killed people. Well, he's white. Okay. You're black. You're in a country where it's a majority white population. Okay. That's just the reality. So it's going to be nepotism. If you don't like it, that should be motivation for us to organize and get power. But the police, if you're going to hold them to a standard, they're already doing pretty good because the numbers say so. And also, They're still human beings, and the Supreme Court say they don't got to do shit for you. So yeah,
Nope. Not a damn thing. See, this is my problem, right?
mm-hmm.
We often talk about, this police brutality thing, and many years ago, people who've been watching me for a while know that we used to cover a lot of this shit. We used to cover a lot of police brutality cases. We used to be at the rallies and all that kind of shit. You look at my archives, you can see I was at the Eric Garner rally, I was at the Trayvon Martin rally, I was at the fucking Jonathan Farrell rally, I was at Ramali Graham's rally. It goes on and on and on, the rallies that I've covered. All right. And we used to be around this stuff all the time. But see, this is the problem that I've developed over the years, where you hear people, like I said, when I was playing devil's advocate, you hear people say, well, they're the police, they're supposed to be trained and have assessment skills and all this kind of stuff, which there's an element of truth to that. But on the other side of that, people are always talking about how bad the white man is and what the white man wants to do to us, and how the white power structure is designed to kill us all. So why is it that we think that it's different, or it deserves more attention, when a white cop specifically kills a black person? It's almost as if, and I know people ain't gonna like this shit, it's almost as if we should expect them to be killing us the way they talk about white people. So to put the white cop on a pedestal and say, well, it's different when the white cop does it as opposed to another brother doing it, to me is rather odd, because it almost seems to me that we should be more upset when one of our quote unquote own is doing it, because we shouldn't be killing each other. If you listen to the narrative that you hear all the time when it comes to relationships between black society and the police department, we should be more upset when we're shooting each other in the head, as opposed to when the cops shoots someone in the head. Am I reaching here?
No, you're not. You're not reaching. I mean, you if you have people in your household, in your community, you should be pissed off and they turn on you rather than a foreign entity turns on you. Okay, because you should expect more from the people who look like and act like you. But the thing is, we hold the white person to because we, first of all, it's pedestalizing them, because once again, we want that white hug. All right, and then when white police officer kills a black person, it's like, oh, we expected more from you. You're white. Well, first of all, let's look at the tape. All right. And you know what I'm saying? Every time I look at the tape on these police killings, it's always like, bro, like when the police pull you over, you lost. It's like we always try to do the extra stuff. Police got all the guns, they got all the artillery and all the equipment. You're not going to win. But for some reason, we want a whole court in the streets. You know what I mean? And because we're expecting quote unquote white people to act better. No, they got a family to go home to. They got kids they trying to feed. And they ain't finna play with your black ass. So, it's like we expect more from them. But like I said, they doing good enough already. The numbers say it. And, like I said, if you're doing something, living your own life, being productive, or even if you're not being productive, as long as you're not doing anything illegal, you don't have anything to worry about with the police. Well, your runners with the police will go down a whole lot. Trust me, I know from experience. So it's like we're expecting more from white people than we expect from ourselves. And when you do that, when you expect more from other people than you expect from yourself, you're going to lose all day.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, because I mean, let's be honest, man. You spoke of how it's more of us killing us than cops that are killing us. Those numbers can't be denied, right? Those numbers cannot be denied. What I think often happens is, because these things happen a lot, all right? A lot of them we just don't see, All right. We see the ones that, you know, go viral and they on the news and, you know, they get 1 million views on the internet. But I mean, a lot of these killings that go on, we don't even see. So if we're going to be outraged about every time a black person gets killed by the police, I expect more of us. I expect us to be pissed off and outraged about every single damn one, then not just the ones that showed up on NBC or ABC or CNN or Fox or MSNBC. I want you, if you're going to be outraged about them, fine, have your outrage. But what about the ones you didn't see? What about those? Do those matter less to you? Or would they matter more to you if you had saw them across your television screen, or if you saw them in a Facebook clip or a YouTube clip or whatever? See, that's where I think it gets a little dicey, because it almost appears that the only reason why we're outraged about it is because the quote unquote media is throwing it at us and they're talking about, oh, look at this, you know, not saying that they make it bad, but it appears to me that we're only outraged once we've seen it on the goddamn news. So where are we at with that?
That's a fact. Like I said, the media is very powerful. The only reason why you hit the nail on the head, the only reason why people care about George Floyd, you know, he was a crackhead. The only reason people care about these type of people is because the media is blowing it up. All right. And if you look at all the numbers, you know, the media is very powerful. But I'm gonna tell you right now, let me tell you how powerful the media is. These people I've seen in this space complaining about these niggas getting killed by the police, who were clearly living a life of criminality, they would not mess with them in real life. I gotta say, shout out to MOT, you know, that's the OG, I respect him. But MOT would not mess with a George Floyd in real life at all. You know what I mean? So it's like, you only care about these people because the media is blowing them in your face. And that's why when I watch the news, I watch it with a clear eye. I understand that what they're presenting to me is just something that somebody deemed to be important to present to the world. You know what I mean? It's nothing special, nothing unique about this killing or that killing. It's just the one that they chose to say, hey, you know, we're going to broadcast this one. But it's 1,000 police killings approximately every year. So they're going to choose the ones that's going to get you the most sensationalized, because you can't keep up with all 1,000 of them. So the media is very powerful. But that's what happened. That's why you got to stop trusting this media and stop trusting their narrative. And you got to take everything you see with a grain of salt, especially mainstream news. You know, they definitely have an agenda. CNN, they have an agenda, and they want to get you riled up and emotional. You know what I mean? And you can't fall for that. Those killings that they show, which is one of hundreds that happen every year, but they get you in your feelings because they play the video, they play the clip over and over, and they get some black people on TV to cry about, they should not be doing this to our neighborhoods, but they ain't gonna do anything about the infants that are getting shot in those same neighborhoods. They want to worry about when the police was doing it. When the police, a lot of times, they had a reason to shoot the dude. That's just a lot of times I look at these videos, I'd be like, damn, if I was the police, I would have shot his ass too. Because I'm not trying to be me. I'm looking at some of this stuff, and I'll be looking how, you know, sometimes they would try to use the car as a weapon, try to do whatever the case to get out and get from being arrested and things like putting Jordan in danger. A lot of times I would have shot him too. A lot of the times, though, now there are times when the police needs to be locked up. I think the one police officer needs to be locked up. Okay,
oh, yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah. I'm not saying the police is perfect now. When they do stupid stuff like that, yeah, they lock them up. But you know, when you look at the lifestyle that these people, you know, cause I know what it is. So I look at the lifestyle some of these niggas are who get their wig pushed back by the police. I'm like, look, you keep playing with fire, one day you're gonna get burned. Okay. You keep playing with fire, one day you want to get burned. You're going to live like these rappers telling you to live. Oh, live fast, die young, YOLO, I don't give a shit. Yo, you play with fire, you're going to get burned. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we can talk about whether it's justified or unjustified, but you dead. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go along with that. And I wanna jump over, because we also hear this a lot. We also hear that black folks need to be policing other black folks. But before we do that, I want to show the folks something. Let me turn this on. I want to show y'all folks something. Y'all see those 4 babies behind me? Do y'all know who they are? Everyone knows who George Floyd is, Ahmaud Arbery, Anthony Thompson, Dante Wright, what's the other girl? Micaiah, what was her name? Micaiah something another.
Michaela Bryant or something like that.
Michaela Bryant, yeah. Do any of you know who these people are?
Nope.
If you know who they are, put their names in the chat. If you know who they are. I know who they are, of course. I've got the photo. But do you know who these people are, folks? Nope, you don't. You know why you don't? You know why you don't? Because number one, all these babies are dead. The average age of these babies, 7 years old. Every single one of them are dead. All of them were killed 4th of July weekend in 2020. Every single one killed, not by the police, not by the white man, not by the KKK, not by the white Aryan nation. They were all killed by Negroes. You know, those Negroes that if the police shoot them in the head, we're out marching. Yeah, every single one of these babies was killed by Negroes. Little Secoria, little Natalie, Tavon, and Reuter. Remember those names, because X will always have this picture on display whenever you come on my show and talk about who doesn't deserve to die. I have a mural of little people who didn't deserve to die. So be warned. Don't come on this channel telling me about who didn't deserve to die, Negroes, unless you're willing to run the names of these babies who were killed on 4th of July. All right? But anyway,
well, can I say something on that real quick?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, because, you know, it's crazy to me. You know, people always say, "Oh, damn, Ramil, you're so ruthless." Here's the thing, like, my empathy. I don't have that much empathy. I'm not gonna stunt. Even for like when these teenagers run away from home and they know damn well they're not supposed to be acting the fool. They get caught up in some stuff. That's their fault. But here's the thing. But when these toddlers and these infants and these children, they don't know anything about life. You know, they fucking literally just came into the world. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at it as they haven't even got the experience. Like, they don't even know what life is about. So you can't hold them to a fault at all. Like, the definition of innocence is, you know what I'm saying, like those children, those ages.
Yeah.
All right. It's pure innocence.
Pure
so
innocence.
I can't. So, you know, it's just, to me, it's just like, you know, it's really no excuse for that type of shit. And, you know, they don't get to grow up and experience, like, they don't get to grow up and, you know, go to school and go to middle. They don't get to even go to kindergarten. They don't get to go to high school. They don't get to go to college. They don't get to go to none of that shit. They literally had their life ended before it even started. They didn't even get to be a teenager, do none of that stuff. And they're getting killed by other black people. But people want me to be mad when a grown junkie or a grown lifelong criminal gets caught up on his day, which he probably deserved it because for karma. When it's his day to go, you people want me to worry about that. I'm looking at you like, man, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, just get out of here with that. You got real innocence being taken away. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just crazy to me. When people ask which one's more important, I'm like, yo, are you fucking crazy? If this keeps happening, you ain't gonna have no more people growing up because they all getting shot up before they reach 10 years old. We worry about a 50-year-old crackhead. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me.
Nope. And that's why I always got that picture on deck for when people come up here talking about who didn't deserve to die. If you're telling me that a lot of these people who were killed, because it's actually a straw man argument to say, oh, he didn't deserve to die because he had a broken tail light. He didn't die over the broken tail light, man. I mean,
Thank you.
he didn't die over that. I mean, just stop it, man. Oh, he didn't deserve to die because he was speeding. He didn't die because he was speeding, man. I mean, come on. That's the shit that kills me. Oh, he didn't deserve to die because he had a joint in his pocket. He didn't die over the joint. Stop.
He didn't die to take $20 man. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, stop. He did not die over that. No one deserves to die over a joint, over $20, over a broken tail light, over speeding, whatever it is. I'm not saying that they deserve to die over that. But at the same time, these babies that I have this mural of, I think they were less deserving of death than these people who found themselves killed by the police. That's just me. Y'all can get mad at me, email me, do what the fuck you want. But when it comes to these babies, I think that they were less deserving of death than these people who were shot by the police. I'm sorry. But let's jump into this. Now, we often hear people say that, you know, us black folks, we need to start policing ourselves and all this kind of stuff, right? But what people don't know, and y'all probably can't read this. I'll try to magnify it if I can. But what people don't know is this. This is an article from 2015, right? And this article says, as y'all can clearly see, that black cops aren't better for black communities just because they have the same skin color. In 1971, Boston's predominantly white police department created an all-black unit within its ranks. The initial goal of the Soul Patrol, as it was called, was to address the local NAACP's concerns about crime in the city's black neighborhoods. Following a spate of 4 murders over the course of a week, tensions between white officers and residents were already strained, and some black Bostonians, I should say, had begun to question the police department's commitment to addressing the surge in violence. But let's zoom down here. But more officers of color doesn't necessarily correlate to less police violence against citizens, especially those of color. City Labs points to the case of the New Orleans Police Department, which is one of the most racially balanced police forces in the nation. In 2011, the U.S. Justice Department found that the New Orleans Police Department's patterns of misconduct, which included excessive force and illegal stops, searches, and seizures, showed racial and ethnic as well as LGBT bias. All right? Now, you heard what they just said. They said that the New Orleans Police Department is the most racially balanced police department in this nation. But there's still excessive force, still illegal stops, searches, seizures, racial, ethnic, as well as the old LGBT, ABCDP people. They get the same treatment, even though it's a bunch of black police. It also says black officers won't gravitate toward this goal simply because they're black, the goal being lowering crime rates and increasing public safety. They say, in fact, it requires a shallow tribalistic view of race to suggest that black officers will foster a better relationship with the black community simply because there's a shared complexion. Now, when they got to the Soul Patrol, right, in the early 70s, they said through the squadron attributed their success to the relationship they had with black community members, and they've been described as an early version of community policing. As we know, a spike in arrests doesn't necessarily mean a commitment to effective policing. And what does that mean? Because during the time of the Soul Patrol, arrest and shit went up. It went up with all the black polices. Brutality up. Corruption up. Excessive force up. Now, y'all can go read this damn article for yourselves because it's long as hell and I don't want to go all the way into it. But I just want to make a point that if black police officers can't police black folks, what in the hell make y'all think that the average rank and file Negro walking the street can police y'all? Y'all gonna give him a damn gat and let him keep law and order on the block? Him and his cohorts as they walk down the street and smoke blunts, sniff cocaine, and drink Heinekens. Yeah, Paul G, that's the white man's article. I know, man. It's the white man. I understand, Brother Paul G. I get it. That's the white man's data. But you gotta go ahead, brother.
Well, let me say this. The reason why that is because black people as a whole have poor leadership and management skills on a collective level. This is just like back in the day when they would say that when the white slave master would give one of the black slaves like authority over the slaves, he would be worse than the slave master. You know what I mean? More whippings, more everything. Because black people, we don't have that good of leadership and management skills. And then when you give somebody like that power, they're going to abuse it. You know what I mean? Like black people we haven't really had no real power in this country. So when you give a group of black people that much power over other blacks, what they're going to do is they're going to exercise more force because it's their first time having that authority. You know what I mean? And I do think that the solution should still be probably to have more black police officers, but it has to be a different kind of black person. It has to be a black person that has to have leadership qualities and management skills, because nobody's going to empathize with you like people of your race. But if you're just going to just have the same standards that the police have right now for hiring, you're just going to take any black person, then yeah, it's going to be the same way. They're going to be worse. They're going to be worse than the white folks because of the lack of leadership, lack of management skills we have. And when we get authority over people, we just want to just go ham because this would be our first time having authority over people. So I definitely could see that being the case from that article.
Yeah, I mean, because let's be honest, man, you know, us as black men, and unfortunately, as black men, a lot of us do have a tendency to get pulled over by the police, get stopped by the police, get questioned by the police. And if you fuck around and get stopped or questioned by a black cop, more often than not, I would say 8 times out of 10, he's worse than the white cops, especially if he has a white cop partner. Forget it. Forget it. He will show his ass, all right, in front of the white cop, especially if that white cop outranks him. You understand? He don't want you to, he don't want that white cop to think that he's taking special consideration on you because you happen to be a Negro too. He don't, man. He don't. He don't.
Ready to show off.
Yeah, let's be honest. So I just don't believe, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't believe that you're going to be able to improve the crime or community relations with the police by having an all-black police force. I mean, it's not going to work, because one thing about us black folks, right? It can be 100 of us decent black folks, but if there's 2 of us will make the other 98 look bad. Because if you bring 100 in there, you're gonna have at least 2 niggas. All right, you're gonna have at least 2 stupid ass niggas, and they gonna make it look bad for everybody. So I just don't, because if you, for instance, like they did in Boston and like they talk about in New Orleans, I'm pretty sure some of those brother cops are decent dudes. I'm pretty sure they are men of the community. I'm pretty sure a lot of those brothers give brothers breaks and the whole nine. But guess what? It only takes a handful of them brothers to start fucking up, start selling drugs, start robbing drug dealers, start shooting folks, start beating folks. It only takes a few of them, and see that cancer spreads. All right, it spreads because I'm a true believer that if a brother joins the police force, I think a lot of people who join the police force because they want to help a community. They want to, they want to help folks. They want to be part of a system. I know I got cops in my family. I got 2 cops in my family. All right. And, talking to them, and they tell me, they like, X, it always start out with, wanting to help people. But as you go on, throughout the years and throughout the time and the stuff that you see, it has an effect on you. And he said, regardless of anything else, he said a lot of cops are just automatically prejudiced against certain neighborhoods, certain individuals, certain kinds of people because of all the things that they've seen in the run of their careers. And now that came from 2 cops, all right, that I'm related to. I've been trying to get their asses on here for years, but they don't want to come up on here because they're scared of questions I'm gonna ask their black asses. But this is what they tell me. They're like, you become somewhat prejudiced, and you find yourself becoming prejudiced against your own people at times because you see so much shit. So I just don't think we got Brother Faulkner in the house as well. I might bring him up here later on as well. I just don't think that an all black police force is the answer. I think black people getting their shit together is the answer. That's where I'm at with it. Mm-hmm. But am I reaching here, man?
I think you're not reaching. I mean, of course, black people have to get their stuff together. I just think it's a little bit of both. But primarily, we got getting our stuff together should be first. But I do think it has to be more black infiltration, a certain type of black person who's had some sort of power before, so that they won't be so power hungry when they do get it. I'll say this though too, that prejudice you talk about, and black people have to understand this: the prejudice against the certain neighborhoods and communities is earned. Okay, yes. These are high crime areas. But people think they're supposed to get the same treatment as some suburb in the middle of nowhere. These are high crime areas that we're talking about inner city when black people live. Yes, it's going to require a more of a alert mindset and more heavy policing, man. We keep forgetting about the crime. That's why the police are there in the first place, because of the high crime in these areas. Okay, the murder rates, the assault rates, the assault rates. Now, even though the drugs, even though they legalized drugs in Oregon. You know what I'm saying? But the selling of the drugs, all these other things that literally will spike up crimes with victims. Okay. Yeah. So it's going to require more policing, or it's going to require something to curb that heavy crime rate. So that prejudice is earned. Black people take everything personally. People do not fuck with us because we black. They don't fuck with us because of the behavior that comes with us. We don't own anything. We don't produce nothing. And when other races see us, they look at us as children. We're not really putting anything out into the world. We're consumers. We don't own anything. So it's like other races got leverage. They produce something. They got something to offer. Us, on the other hand, we are majority consumers. We don't own that much stuff. So they look at us and then they add the crime element to it. The prejudice is earned. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the real estate. I hate when I hear the real estate prices are dropped because you're black. No, the real estate prices drop because of the behavior in the black neighborhoods and not upkeeping the areas, the heavy crime rates. Okay, not paying the property taxes. Okay, it's the behavior that comes with blacks. It's not just because you black. Because it's just an excuse for us not to get on our shit. You're right. Getting our shit together will fix a lot of this, and. But stuff like this, when you talk like this, you're a coon, or you saying this is, it's just crazy to me. But yeah, I agree with you. Self accountability, and yes, the prejudice is earned.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta, I'm a true believer that often as black people we have a tendency to look outward, for the solutions. And shout out to Brother Ike Ogamian with the $100 super chat. Appreciate that, brother Ike. Y'all get down there, man.
Ike, man.
Subscribe to brother Ike. Dropping the yard on the program. I appreciate that, brother Ike. Also, shout out to brother Deshaun, my man, Big Nate, and brother Derek for the cash apps. Appreciate that, brothers. Appreciate y'all. But like I was saying, I think often we have a tendency to look outward for the solutions. All right. And I think that we should be looking inward, man. I think we should be focusing inward on a lot of the things that go on, with us as a people. Of course, there are some outward things that affect Black people. The white power structure has an effect on Black people. The quote unquote white supremacy does have an effect on Black people. But I think if we were to get more focused on the inward things of us, if we focus more on structure, if we focus more on discipline, if we focus more on counsel, guidance, instruction, especially when we're talking about our children, I think that would pave a smoother road to Black society's existence. Because I'm a Black man too, right? And I say again, I understand that the white power structure exists. All right. I compete with white folks in my business. I've been doing it for years. I get it. All right. I get that. But at the same time, I try not to let the fact that I have to compete against white people, man, disparage me, man, from going for the bigger things, for doing the bigger things, because it's like, oh man, I shouldn't try to procure this contract because all the white boys gonna be there and they gonna get it. Like I just never seen it that way, man. The fact that the white power structure exists, that shit fuels me. It fuels me to do more shit, as opposed to disparaging me to do greater things. And I just think that oftentimes, man, we let the white power structure boogeyman, man, kind of, disparage us, man, for reaching to greater heights, man. That's just me.
That's exactly what we do. Oh, my bad.
Y'all hit that goddamn like button.
Facts.
Or I be floating over mama bed tonight. But go ahead, brother Ramil.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, well, we can't do this because the white man gonna stop us. The white man tore down Tulsa, Oklahoma. You said, you took the words out of my mouth. Knowing that we wake up, we're living under another group's system. Like I said, this country's majority white. This is a white European country. Okay, so that motivates me. That doesn't hinder that's my motivation to get up every day and to go hard, because I'm in the subservient position. Well, the group of people I'm a part of are in a subservient position, and power fuels me. It's like if you're in the track race and you're behind, that should motivate you to get your kick up and to push further. I'm not waiting for them to slow down for me. I'm going to try to catch up. Okay. Yes. And it's like, when you worry about these white people, and these white people ain't worried about you. They got their own bills to pay. They got their own families to feed. We think that the white man literally thinking about us every day. They got the whole world they worrying about. They really not worried about niggas like that. You know what I mean? So that's my motivation to go harder. I compete with white people too when it comes to the real estate deals and things like that. And I win a lot of times too. Like, they're just humans. They're just human beings, man. That's all they are. They're just human beings with pale skin. The difference is they decide to use their human attributes to the maximum extent. Black people usually don't a lot of times. That we don't got that warrior fire that gets us up to compete with these other groups of people. But Asians got it. You know what I mean? The Arabs got it. That warrior spirit inside of you that you're willing to go to the end. You know what I'm saying? White folks, they took over the goddamn world. You gotta be real gully to build some ships and to go across the world and take over some stuff. You don't even know what's on the other side. That you gotta have that. We have to have that same conquering mentality today, or you're never gonna win. All right, it's never gonna be equal. There's no equality in nature. All right, and there's no equality and nowhere in biology. Somebody's going to dominate the other. So you got to choose what you're gonna be. You're gonna be the dominant one or the subservient one. And we literally have made our choice. We don't want to compete with the Mexicans. We don't want to compete with the Asians. The Asians will come in a black neighborhood and start a store and run it up. There's no you cannot go into Chinatown, buy a property and start a business in China. Try it.
Hell no.
You will not. But they come in your that's not the white man's fault that these people can suck your dollars out of your community and go build theirs up. The white man has nothing to do with that. Commercial real estate in the hood is very cheap. So it's like, what is the excuse? The white man's not stopping black people from accomplishing anything. When I was out, in the streets, that the white man wasn't telling me, hey, keep out here and keep getting money this way and that wasn't the white man. That was me on my own will out there breaking the law. So I can't be mad if the white man comes and grabs me because he set the trap. But the thing is that we act like the white man is so pervasive in our life that an average black person don't even, unless you at your job or something, you don't even come into contact with white people like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it's crazy. I'm like, the excuses as to why we're behind, and you always want to blame it on white people. If you're going to do that, where has that gotten us now? We're still in it. We own 0.5% of the country's wealth now, just like we did when we got out of slavery in 1865. So it's just crazy to me that we still complaining, but the results haven't changed. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. We gotta get to that money. We gotta get to that power. We gotta start, thinking bigger. When black people get money, we buy bigger toys. Take out another mortgage on another house, get a bigger car, instead of saying, how can I get this money and invest it, or make it profitable, start a business or real estate, or do something that's going to bring me back more money. When we get money, we buy bigger toys. We're teenagers. We don't look at money as a tool. Money is the tool to create what you want. You don't like what the police doing? Use your money, get some lobbyists, get some laws passed. People always ask, why don't they pass laws to protect black folks? Because you got no leverage. They ain't got no reason to. They're going to pass an Asian law, though, because Asians are the highest income earners. They're slowly buying up a lot of the real estate. They're slowly acquiring more power in this country. They got China, on the other hand. There's a reason for the United States government to acquiesce a little bit to them. What do the U.S. government get out of acquiescing to blacks? They don't get nothing. People got to understand the game is leverage. The game is what can you do for me? What can I do for you? Yeah. The government don't see no value in doing that for black people because they're not going to get no return. We're not producing anything. We already do. The maximum we're going to do is be consumers, and we're already doing that now. So people be confused. Why isn't the government doing anything for blacks? Why do they have a reason to? What are you going to do? Are you going to give them more tax dollars? Forget the voting. We don't even, when it comes to the politics, what groups will do? They will fund both sides. They will send donation to both political parties. So those politicians are obligated to return the favor. Black people don't believe in playing that way. We don't believe in buying politicians and doing things like that. We just think that the system's supposed to do this just because.
Yeah.
It don't work like that. Nothing's free. Justice is not free. Black people keep wanting free shit. Justice is not free. All right. Shit. Political power is not free. You got to pay for that shit, man. And if you don't, you're going to get the basic stuff. You're going to go to the public library. You can't go to Barnes & Noble. You got to go to the public library with the outdated books because you don't want to pay for the new information at Barnes & Noble's.
Yeah, and this is where it gets into the double speak, where you hear people say, oh, the government's supposed to be doing this and the government's supposed to be doing that and the government should do that for black people. Then these same people will talk about how the government doesn't care about black people. The government isn't concerned with black people. So if you're acknowledging the fact that the government doesn't care or doesn't have any concern for black people, how do you turn around now and say the government should be doing something for black people when you just got finished saying the government doesn't care about black people? That's where people lose me with that shit, when they talk about how horrible, like I said earlier, They talk about how horrible the white man is, how horrible the white power structure is, how horrible existence in America is because of white folks. But you expect these white folks to not kill us. You expect these white folks to give us things. You expect these white folks to cut us a break. That doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I'm just an old crazy Negro, but that shit doesn't make any sense to me, man. I mean,
well, it's the definition of insanity, and it's an oxymoron. The same white people that we claim to know the history of, you know, they don't fuck with you, but then on the other hand, you expect them to do more for you than you're gonna do for yourself. I just don't understand it either. I know white people. I don't expect not anything from them. I don't mess with white people. Okay, I don't even like white people. Okay, I know what they about. I know that they put their own before anybody else, as they should. And I'm not expecting any other human of any other race to show me any empathy because they don't care. And they shouldn't care. Why should they? They got their own problems. They got their own industries. They're doing their own thing. I expect more from people that look like me than from white people. But it's still to this day, we just waiting on white people to be nice to us and give us that hug. They don't fuck with you. White people don't mess. I'm sorry. And I've said this before, but they look at you literally as monkeys. That's how they look at black people. And I understand this. So with this understanding, I'm not expecting white person to do nothing for me. Instead, I'm gonna do what I can do to the best of my ability, and I'm gonna try to do to them, you know what I'm saying, what they did to us through our history, which is capture us and make us stay slaves. I'm not gonna do that literally, but white people work for me. Okay? White people work for me when I need them to. You know what I'm saying? So because I study the winners. Saying they were the winners. Now next is going to be the Asians. So when the Asians take over, what's going to be our excuse then? When the Asians take over, is it going to be Asian supremacy now? I'm going to tell you right now, the white folks will hire you.
The Asian power structure.
Exactly. See, white folks will hire you. They would let you work at their jobs. Let these Asians take over, man. You will be locked out like a motherfucker. You're going to be really the permanent underclass when the Asians take over. Asians really don't care.
Yeah.
They really they showing you in Africa they don't care. The Chinese are opening restaurants and stores in Africa. They not even let Africans eat there, shop there, kicking them out in Africa.
Ain't that some shit?
You know, so
ain't that some shit? Well, my philosophy has always been this, all right? And you know, I tell my wife, my kids, my grandkids, and everybody I know, if I'm of the mind that white folks done took so much from us, I make it my business. I spend the rest of my life trying to get some of that shit back. That's where I'm at with it. All right. I mean, y'all, they want to talk about how much the white man took from us. Fine. I'll give you that argument. But I spend every fucking day of my life, Brother Ramil, getting some of that shit back. All right. So I just think that if we focused, all right, fine. People want to get out there and march for people who got killed. Me, I don't believe in the marching shit, no matter who's doing it and what it's for. I mean, I've never been a fan of the marching and the protests and all that shit. I mean, I've went to places and filmed them, you know, at riots and shit like that. But I just don't think the protesting and the marching solves anything. It doesn't get any laws changed, and 9 times out of 10, when you get people marching and shit, what they do, they get right out there and they burn down their own shit. They don't even go to the offender's neighborhood and burn shit down. All right. Yeah. They you know, they won't even do that. You know, they get together and they burn down their own shit. They burn down the freaking deli that gives your grandmother credit. They burn down the drugstore where your mama get her medicine from. They burn down the goddamn barbershop where everybody hang out and talk and shit. You know, they burn down that shit. It's not like they went over to Chauvin's. They didn't go to Derek Chauvin's neighborhood. They know better. And march and destroy shit.
Niggas know better.
You know, now if they were doing that shit, Brother Ramil, if they were doing that, when a cop, for instance, when a cop kills a brother, right? Why destroy the neighborhood that the brother got killed in, or destroy the neighborhood where the brother lived? Why not go to where this cop is, or whoever this white person is? Why ain't you marching there? Why ain't you setting fire to shit over there, and breaking windows, and kicking shit over, and flipping over cars and shit? Don't you think it would send a better message if you marched there? I just don't think that the quote unquote white power structure cares if you burn down your own shit. I don't think they care.
No, they don't. That's why they don't. That's why they let you do it. You know what I mean? Or they let you burn the metropolitan areas, which black people live in anyway. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, man, they know better. You know, because at the end of the day, black people ain't prepared for war. You know, I keep hearing stuff like we're gonna be a race war, dude. If there's a race war, we might as well all just goddamn. We might as well just kill ourselves, because there's no way we're prepared for warfare. We're crybabies. You know what I mean? We're crybabies. And I'm just so sick of it, bro. Like, because you don't get anything out of life being a crybaby. You have to go out and take what you want, and you got to be strategic. Us black people don't have no strategy. We're not strategic. We don't think long term.
Yeah.
We just want to just cry when something happens, and that does not get anything done. Okay, you got to make people have to do something for you, and that's called having leverage. You got to have leverage. What leverage do black people have so that the government and any other officials are going to pay them any mind? What's the leverage? We don't own anything. We don't produce anything. So there's no leverage for these people to care. They can spend, the government can spend its time giving resources on people who are going to produce. So if we're not talking about getting into the game and becoming titans of industries and putting our all into it, and thinking on some sort of economic collective level, you know, we're going to be in the same situation. We've been going in circles, and we've been going in circles for the past century. Nothing has changed, and we've been doing the same tactics: march, protest, be a crybaby. Nothing has changed at all. Police still murking niggas. Niggas still murking niggas. We still got no power. Yeah. We got to try something different. It's that simple. We have to try something different. We use the same equation, the same formula every time. 2 + 2 are going to always equal 4. It's time to try something different. Maybe let's try to get out here and get some leverage or some power in some of these industries and buy our way into power, which like everybody else does. Like that politician said, I can't remember his name, America has the best Congress money can buy. That's a quote from one of the presidents, I believe. I forgot which one. We got to start. If you want justice, you want political sovereignty, you want this quote unquote police to leave you alone, you have to have leverage and power so that they know not to fuck with you. The police know they can't run up on Chinese people like that.
Yeah.
They know they can't run up on Indians and other groups of people like that. They know they can't do it because they know it's coming. You're going to have whatever they control, whatever industry they know they can't run up on the Jews. Or my bad, the people of Israel. They know who to mess with and who not to. And black people are easy targets because we have no power backing. We're easy targets. Bullies pick on easy targets. So stop being the lick. Stop being an easy target. It's that simple. But when you say that, you're a coon. When you say have self-accountability and get out here and do something, you're a coon. But when that lion got his teeth in that gazelle's neck, the gazelle can't say, hey, man, stop doing this. Get off of me. No, it's time to eat. You the food. Yeah. We the food. So until we get this, change our mindset and become the predator, and we get out here and do what these other races do, put people in our pocket, you know what I'm saying? Start taking life a little bit more serious. Start owning what we do, owning where we live, owning our neighborhoods, owning the businesses around there, circulating the money more, start buying up these politicians, say, hey, we need you to do this. Here go the bad, but you do this, we need you to do this, or we're gonna get you up out of here. Or we're gonna pay your competition, and he gonna do it. So it's really, it's not hard, but it's not easy. But this cycle of things that we've been doing the same stuff for the past century, it gotta stop, man. Or it's gonna be the year 3021. We're gonna be in the same situation.
And we're still going to be complaining about the white power structure.
No, the
And
Asian power structure. They by
oh
then.
yeah, we'll be complaining about the Asian power structure. The Asian power structure.
Sure.
But you know about now. I know brothers is geared up. Do you want to open this thing up, or do you mind we open it up, or no?
Yeah, you can open it up. You know, you know, I'm open. I'm open
Now
to it.
I want y'all to know this ain't no damn debate, so don't come up here with your bullshit.
It's all good, man.
If you want to come up here, you know, under some you know, conversational type shit, come on up. Don't come up here acting crazy, because if you do, I'm throwing you the fuck off. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. And that's pretty much gonna be it. So, y'all know how we do it. If you want to come through, hit the email. It's propertothought@yahoo.com. That's propertothought, one word, no caps, @yahoo.com. If you wish to come up here and opine. But see, this is the thing, right? We see this stuff, you know, because they throw a lot of these images of brothers, you know, getting killed, right? We see a lot of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my thing is this, and I've always said this. I want brothers to survive the encounter, okay?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, regardless of anything else, I need brothers to survive the encounter. Even if the cop is out of pocket, you feel like he's disrespecting you, whatever the case may be, survive that encounter, going off to the hoots, gal. And when you get out, guess what? You can fix that on the back end.
Yep.
Back end. Yeah, on the back end. I tell my sons the same thing. All right. I mean, you get pulled over by the police, man, survive the encounter. Because see, if you survive the encounter, we can come back with our lawyer on his ass on
exactly.
the back end.
Hit him. I got a lawsuit against the police right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be harder for me to tell your story if you laying in the street with a cop's bullet in your head and they got you covered with a blanket, because see, your story never gets told now. Only his story gets told. Mm-hmm. You see how that works? Yep. You need to live to be able to tell the story of what happened. And like you said earlier, I also agree with that. Quit trying to hold court with these police on the side of the road, man. It's a losing battle, especially if your ass is in the wrong.
If you in the,
yeah, you can't win, especially if you in the wrong. If you in the wrong, take the temporary L. Just take that tip, because it's an L. I get it. Mm-hmm. It's an L. Take the temporary L, going down to the hoots, gal. If it's not that serious, of course, one day you're going to bring your ass out of there. And the question I ask to a lot of brothers, which I don't understand, is whatever happened to just going to jail? Just go to jail. I mean, you get in there, you're going to be able to get out. Like I said, if it's not that serious, man, do you actually think you're making things better by scuffling and fighting and running? And that's going to make things better? If you start fighting the cops, you just made your situation better, right? If you haul off and try to shoot at the cops, you just made your situation better, right? You haul off and catch the cop with a left hook across the jaw, you just made your situation better, right? That's what I'm talking about. A lot of the shit that you see going on, man, with a lot of people when it comes to the police, man, it's not making the situation better, man. It's not.
You're 100% correct. And you said something, you said on the back end, you have to understand another reason why just be calm with the police and survive the encounters, because as a black man, you like a walking lawsuit. Like, just let them hang themselves. I'm telling you, they probably gonna lie on the report. They're probably gonna do some other stupid stuff. Go into the courtroom, catch them up. That's why I say you should have dash cameras, have cameras in your car. Yes, cameras. Hey, your phone should be recording if you have access to it. Get their body cam footage. It's called discovery. Okay, if you whatever case you got, get all the discovery. Even for that particular, but I need all the discovery. That means all the evidence you got against me. I need that body cam footage. I need everything. Destroy them in the courtroom, and then we get the case dismissed. You got a lawsuit. You're finna get that bag coming. But you can't do that because we don't think strategically. We don't think long term. We got to prove ourselves in the street. We got that ego. We got to prove that we're not a BAN. You know what I mean? We got to prove that. We got to prove that we're a man to the police. The police don't give a fuck. They gonna shoot you so they can go home. So they because they scared for their life. But you know it's no better feeling. I'm gonna tell you this right now. It's no better feeling than catching a cop up in his lies in the courtroom in front of everybody. Judge included, prosecutor included. I'm telling you right now, just wanted to everybody looking at you. Put out the evidence. Excuse me, Your Honor. I would like to point out the inconsistencies in this police report and this body cam footage right here. So he lied, said I had possession of marijuana, but you clearly see so. It's nothing better than beating them at their own game and then knowing you're gonna get paid off of it. That feeling's better than trying to prove yourself in the streets to the police and risking your life in the courtroom. That's where you should be that's where your warfare skills will come out. So yeah, it ain't nothing better than that. And everybody looking at the police like, damn, dog, you got caught up. Ain't no better feeling than that.
Exactly, man. Survive the goddamn encounter, man. Because guess what? You can't do any of that shit if you laying in the street with a cop's bullet in your head. You can't do any of that shit. Somebody else got to step in and try to fight for your fight for your justice, fight for your rights, fight for your name. Now you can't even do it yourself because you're dead. And the fact that you're dead, I say again, your story never gets told because see, you're dead. You're laying in the street. Now we got to rely on what the cops say, what we may or may not see on the camera, which they may or may not release to the public. We have to rely on all of that. But if we have you there, guess what? We have your side of the story. And I think that if you survive that encounter, and like you said, and you are able to catch these cops up in inconsistencies, lies, fallacies, untruths, it's all for the better, man. And at the end, it's a bigger win. I mean, it's a temporary win if the cops tell you to get out your car, and when you get out, you hit him across the chin with a left hook and knock him out. That's a temporary win, but you done just escalated the whole shit. You done turned that whole traffic stop into some other shit now. You done turned it into some other shit. So survive the encounter, brothers. That's all. I don't want you to be punked out by the cops. I don't want you to kiss the cops' ass. I don't want you to bend the knee to the police. None of that shit. But what I do want you brothers to do is to survive the fucking encounter. All right? Survive the fucking encounter. Do what you got to do. And when you get out, if you need to get hooked up with a good lawyer, give me a motherfucking call. Send me a motherfucking email. I know quite a few lawyers all over this country. I know one lawyer that's connected to about 5 or 6 different lawyers in different states. Hit me up and I'll get you. I will help you get a good lawyer so you can fight. But I cannot do that, brothers, if you're dead.
Yep.
That's all. I want y'all to live, man, regardless of anything else, regardless of what you're doing out in the streets, regardless of how much crack you sell or how many liquor stores you rob, or regardless of that, I still want your black ass to live. I don't want the cops shooting your ass. So I gotta get up here and talk about you on the damn internet and talk about how your ass should have just shut up and survived that fucking encounter. All right? It would really bother me if one of these brothers in this chat room or one of these brothers watching this fucking stream, man, turned up dead over some bullshit that went down with a cop over some stupid fucking traffic stop. That shit would fuck me up, man. It would.
Yeah.
It would.
Facts, man. Over little stuff too, a lot of times, man. But yeah, man, you just wait it out, have your day in court. But I'm telling you, man, these police, It's so easy to catch them up. These police are not smart people. They're not. You know, you actually read the reports that they write up on the traffic stops. We actually look at the paperwork. You see these people are kind of stupid. Police officers are kind of, I don't know what the training process. I know the requirements to be one is not that high. These are not smart people, man. It's easy to catch them up, and it's easy to, but like I said, you got to think long term for that. So sacrifice the short term L for the long term W, man. That's really life. Be disciplined and have delayed gratification. Let him get his rocks off, hemming you up, and then you'll hem him up in the courtroom in front of everybody.
That's all. And like I said, man, you find yourself in a situation, man. I mean, I know quite a few lawyers, all right, and I know lawyers that are hooked up with other lawyers. So if you find yourself in some crazy fucking situation, man, get yourself out of jail, man. Hit me up, and depending on what state you're in, I can help you get a lawyer. I can, and I'm not bullshitting. I can help you get a lawyer because I've helped brothers get lawyers. So, I mean, anything, man, to keep y'all brothers alive, man. And I ain't just, blowing smoke up your ass, all right? Because that ain't even how I get down. It's brothers who have my personal phone number and the whole nine. If I can help you out, I will, all right? If I can help you out, brother, I will. But I can't help you if your ass dead. How I'm going to help you now unless I'm going to pay for your damn funeral? And to be honest, it'll be cheaper to get a lawyer for you than to pay for your
Exactly. Yep.
That'll be cheaper for me, to help you get a lawyer as opposed to gotta give your old mammy my money to bury your black ass. But I'm just being honest, man. I'm just being honest, brothers. I need y'all to survive, man. We know that most of us are going to have some encounter with the police at some point. Even if you're a straight up law-abiding citizen, you don't do nothing, you jump in your car, you go to work every day, you come home to your wife and kids, you don't do shit. I get it. All the more reason for you to survive the encounter. Why? Because you have people to live for. You have things to live for, man. You have a life to live for. That alone should have it in your mind that, hey, I'm just going to get this ticket and I'm going to be gone. Not the cop come to your car and you want to argue with this motherfucker and do all this kind of bullshit and scuffle and fight. And no, man. Think more of your life, man. This little ticket you're going to get from the police, man, is nothing, man. I mean, it's nothing. What's it going to be? $200, $300? You fuck up more than that in a month on weed and shit. So go ahead, pay that $200-$300 and go on with your life, man. But we've been joined by brother TVA. Brother TVA, what's good with it, man?
How you doing, bro? It's good to see you, man.
What's going on, man? What you got for us?
Brother Ramil, man. I love your content, man, especially the business-related shit, man. That's,
what's going on? Appreciate it. Thanks.
Real quick, man, I just wanted to ask because you said something earlier. You said that you said it's deserved. The persecution is deserved. I mean, what did you mean by that? Are you basically saying that you believe that it's okay to discriminate against African Americans because of the behavior of other African Americans?
What did I say? What did I say was deserved? What exact action?
You said that the discrimination was deserved when you were talking about how, for instance, when black people move into the neighborhoods and whatnot, you were basically saying because of the behavior of certain dusty Negroes that discriminating
prejudice. I said the prejudice.
I thought that's what you said. If that's not what you said,
I said the prejudice that other races have against us when it comes to that's earned. We did earn that. Yes. Mm-hmm.
We earned that. How? So you're basically saying now. The reason why I'm asking because I notice how even black people. I don't know if you call yourself a conservative or not. I'm a conservative, but I've even heard black people say things like white guilt. I don't agree with white guilt. Why should white people feel guilty about so and so? But it just seems like black guilt holding black people accountable for the behavior of a few is okay. And I've even heard black people, so I got black people saying this, that white guilt is a bad thing, but holding black people accountable for the behavior of certain small group. See, I just hate how people pretend like we don't see all of these straightforward, progressive, hardworking brothers and sisters. And so, I mean, that black women out here that ain't robbing, ain't twerking, ain't, I mean, they got fucked up attitudes.
That's not what I'm talking about.
But as far as committing crimes and fucking up society, you got plenty of black people that are not doing that. So why is it okay to discriminate? Why are there prejudices against us okay?
Because here's the thing, because we have an image, okay? And before I get to the statistics, people don't care if you're productive or not. When another group sees you, they see the image that they see across the media. They're not going to try to figure out if you're one of the good ones or not. Then on the other hand, the prejudices, I'm saying we do commit higher crime rates than other people. We do have worse neighborhoods than other people. So when another group comes to see our situations where we operate at a lower level, they have a right to be prejudiced in a place where there's more crime. Are you not going to be prejudiced? And when you encounter a place where there's higher crime rates, are you not going to show that area? You're not going to be more alert. You're not going to be a little bit more ready to defend yourself in a place where it's a higher chance of something happening to you?
Okay, well, how are we tying that to blackness, though? See, here's my thing.
Because we're talking about black people, and black people, when we talk about crime, we have higher crime rates. So that's why it's tied to black people.
Okay, well,
is that true or false?
We're not. That's not necessarily true. We're not putting things into context, bro.
Where is it not true that black people have a higher crime rate overall when it comes to crime? Yes, do you have numbers on that? Because I can put up the numbers.
What kind of crime? Child molestation, armed robbery, scamming? What are we talking about here?
Crimes with victims, except for sexual offenses. White people own sexual offenses. But for some reason, we let them paint black people as the face. But I'm talking about homicide, assault, robbery, things that have victims. We do commit those at a higher rate. So when you do something that at a higher rate, you're going to attract more of the attention that comes with that. And if you want to change that, then we have to change our behavior. Because if you're so worried about how other groups perceive you, then you got to change what's making them perceive you like that.
Understood. But we have to put these figures into context, brother. See, that's the thing. That's the privilege that we give to white people. We let them put their shit into context when they go out and shoot up shit. Oh, well, he was picked on and mental issues, and let's look at the nuance.
They do that for them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, but you say it's okay for them to not do that for us, which I'm not understanding. And then
I'm not expecting another group of people. I'm not expecting another group of people to look at us. Why are you expecting? That's that hug stuff. They're never gonna look at you like they look at themselves. Bro.
We don't look at the nuances for each other either. That's my main problem. We say the same thing that they say. We don't put it in. Now look, is the dysfunction bad? Yes. I'm gonna say it for the 50 million. I am not one of these blame the white man type of dudes. I'm not that type of dude. Well, I've never said that, and I haven't said that yet. I've never blamed the white man. I don't believe in doing that. But when it comes to the dysfunction in the black so-called community, we have to put it into context. We can't just say black people.
Context, bro? What's the context? Because I personally think it's
that this dysfunction is mainly limited to the low-income inner city areas. When we cannot pretend like there are hardworking black people out here that aren't living in these areas, that aren't robbing anybody, aren't selling any drugs.
Nobody disagree with that. It comes back to image. And here's the thing. Those quote unquote lower income blacks you're talking about, that's the image that's portrayed to the world, which we allow that to happen. But two, that's where majority of the crime amongst blacks taking place, which makes it the majority of the crime in America. Like, once again, black people commit 52% of the murders, but with 13% of the population. That is freaking insane.
How many of those
can I jump in real quick?
Black people, brother.
How many what?
How many of those murders are committed against non-black people and outside of these inner city areas?
So how many of the murders that black people commit are committed against
How
non?
many of those, out of all of those murders, how many of those murders are committed against non-black people outside of these dysfunctional inner city areas?
I'll have,
Meaning, I'm
do,
asking,
do,
are
you- do
black
you have
people
the answer to that?
all over the country just killing people all over the place, no
Do
matter what
you have
color?
the answer to that? Because I don't have that. I know one thing. I know that black on blacks crime is
That's what
high.
you're implying. That's my
Wait,
point, but that's what you're implying. When you say black people, you are implying that we are just running around America,
No, I'm
just
not.
killing these
I'm
motherfuckers.
applying the
but
numbers. I'm reciting the
context.
numbers. I'm reciting the
T-
numbers.
TPA, can I get in
I'm
real
just
quick?
reciting the numbers, bro. Like it's not. I'm not saying
Right,
all black
but you have
people.
to put the numbers in context.
You
That's
want me
what
to
I
say?
said.
You want me to say?
when I
Okay,
said
this
something.
section of black. So you don't want. So you're trying to separate. So okay, so here's what you're trying to do. You're trying to separate yourself from these quote unquote lower income blacks, but the other groups don't got time for that. What you're trying to do, white person, you expect these white people to come and look at you and be like, you know what? Let me try to figure out if
So,
you're one of the good Negroes or one of the bad
we
ones.
lumping white people with white trash. Everybody does that for white people. We don't separate white people from elite whites and trash whites. We don't do that. Come on, bro.
Oh, for
Come on, bro.
the most part, black
Come
people
on, bro.
don't. For the most part, black people don't. What are you talking?
What
Black people
mean?
look at white
Come
people as
on,
a
brother.
black
Come
people
on,
look
man.
at white people as a monolith. That's why we always talk about them white folks, them white folks. What are you talking
No,
about?
not really,
Can I
bro.
ask one question?
Other races of people generalize other races all the time because we're not the same. What are you
Can I
talking
ask,
about?
Ramil, can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
Hold on a
So,
second. Hold on a second, brother Renaissance. Let me read a super chat from Borgen Freeman with the 555. Appreciate that, brother Borgen. He says, I always find it amazing how bros won't comply with the police, but when Katavius Jefferson pulls the pole out, they comply 1,500% of the time. Amazing. We've been joined by brother Renaissance. What's good with it, brother Renaissance, man? What you got for us, brother?
what's up? Now, I won't be too long. I just wanted to ask a couple questions of Ramil. I kind of caught the back end of this. Ramil, just to clarify, so you're saying that the reason whites have animosity towards black people is because the negative image portrayed in the media?
That's part of it, yes. Also, the fact that we don't own anything and don't control anything, no leverage in this country like that. That's another reason.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask. So, like, with that argument, how do you explain historically when blacks did own stuff, the hostility they met from whites? Like when you look at black land ownership in like the 1920s, like we owned, I believe, around 20 million acres of land. You had all sorts of discrimination with USDA, things like that. When you looked at places like Tulsa, Oklahoma, recently in the news, there's a place out in California, I believe, called Manhattan Beach, that a black man and black woman actually developed. Today it's worth like $37 million. Whites became jealous of it and basically stole it from them. They're trying to actually get that land back. What do you mean nature?
Because you're not the same group as them. That's another reason for hostility. Another group of people is going to be hostile to you, and we're in the game of life. The game of life is we're competing for resources. So yeah, just like when white people came to Africa and took all that stuff, yes, that's natural as well. It's because of in nature, you're gonna want to be around people that look like you, have the same experience as you. So yes, they're going to show favoritism, and they're going to be hostile, and if you let them run over you, they're going to do it.
So I guess does that kind of cancel out your argument then of the negative image of black people?
No, that's an additional reason to it.
So I mean, I guess if black people did what you said, clean up the image, what's the incentive then?
Because you have the power to stop. You have the power to stop the hostility. That's what it is. People they're hostile to the Asians as well, brother. They're hostile to everybody. The only difference is other groups of people have the power to stop their hostility. They can't be, even though white people don't like Chinese people like that, guess what? China ain't gonna let them practice that 100% hostility because they got the power to stop them. Hold on. One more thing. You waiting on white people to act nice to you and not bully you and not become a predator over you, but you're not stopping them. You just want them to just act right. No, people are going to conquer. People are going to take over things, and it's your job to defend yourself, just like these other groups of people do. They defend themselves against the hostility. But the hostility is not going to stop. We're in nature. This is biology.
So just for clarity, was this conversation, were you talking about just specifically in this country, or are you talking global?
We're talking in this country right now.
Okay. Oh, so your argument is then that we need to clean up the dysfunction in the community and then also be ready to basically deal with the hostility of any group regardless.
Just like every other race does. Yes, every other race is operating just like that. They clean up their stuff and they literally have a fort where you can date. Where if you want to mess with them, you better be ready to go to war. That's why the Chinese, right, the Asians right now are the highest earning, right? They have built their protection. They got their money up. Same thing with the people from Israel. Same thing with the Arabs. So white people don't like them either. And white people will go through.
No. Let me ask you this. Then what's the incentive for people to go and clean up? Because there's still white trash. There's still Asian trash. There's still all of the above. So isn't it just, are you basically saying just the blacks who are not involved in the BS basically just need to build themselves up?
No, the intelligent black people who have a brain needs to go and employ the lower class blacks like the other races of elites do. The lower class blacks are foot soldiers, but they have nobody to fight for because the elite black are not employing them like the elite Asians do to the poor Asians, like the elite whites do to the poor whites. They're never going to clean anything up.
No. You think they employ or do they exploit? Let's be honest.
If you work for somebody, you're getting exploited, bro.
Exploit.
Yes, you exploit.
Okay.
If I don't exploit the lower income blacks, guess who else going to do it? Somebody else going to do it. So it's better for me to do it as another black person and have their human capital work for me as another black, rather than have their human capital work for a white person. Yes, that is our job for the black people who can think clearer to take control of the lower class and employ them and make them our foot soldiers. You can call it exploitation all you want, but guess what? Exploitation has been happening since the beginning of time. It's never going to be a perfect world.
Let me ask you something, Brother Renaissance. Do you think that, because you spoke about the incentive for, what should be the incentive for black people to do something? And I think you framed it as, why should, black people, why should we have any incentive on doing anything because, of how we've been treated, in the past, et cetera, et cetera. But shouldn't the incentive be for us to have more and be better? I mean, leave white folks aside. Forget what white folks are doing. All right. Shouldn't the incentive for us to have better neighborhoods, have a better economic footing, have a better structure, shouldn't the incentive be for us to be better as opposed to?
No, absolutely. The only reason I asked that is I just wanted to make sure Ramil wasn't making the argument that the sole reason blacks are mistreated is because of the Pookie and Ray Ray element. That's the only thing I was asking.
I know it's multiple reasons. Multiple reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Because like I said, I came on the stream late, and that's where I picked up where they were going, where you and TVA were talking about the lower element and how whites were viewed. So I agree with you 100%. X people should want to be better just to be better. I was just asking. That's like I said. I was just trying to get clarity there.
Yeah, but I was. Well, my bad. Well, I'm just saying, like I said, there's more than one reason. But at the end of the day, the reasons we can debate the reasons why people are hostile towards us all day. But at the end of the day, hostility is going to exist. That's what happens in nature. This is still nature. Okay, we're just advanced animals. Okay, so it's always going to be fight over quote unquote territory and things like that. That doesn't change because we built houses and buildings. Same rules of nature applies. Groups of people are going to be hostile to other groups. We just, because of money and civilization, we've curved it a little bit, but it's the same rules. And black people don't understand it. So when people are hostile towards us, we one, take it personal, and two, we want to complain about it instead of actually countering the hostility.
You agree there's going to be in-group hostility as well?
Every group has in-group hostility. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There's always going to be that. And likewise, there's always going to be hostility towards black people. Brothers are not going to stop. I know this may come as a shock to everybody, but brothers are not going to stop getting killed by the police, man. The police are going to continue to kill people. The only thing that's going to be different is that a handful of cops may go to jail. That's the only thing that's going. That's the only thing that's going to change. It's going to continue to happen.
Are you saying if we stay under the current system, or if people organize and force change? Because I think if you can change some incentives, I think you can actually get some change.
I don't believe that, because when it comes to people,
I'll give you an example. I think if you can end qualified immunity, I think if you can put some sort of like a bonding. Like I know you're in the construction, you know about having a bond as far as being able to do that. If you make police carry that type of private insurance, I think you can structure the departments in a way that people who engage in excessive force, that they will be thrown out.
Nope, brother Renaissance.
Because of insurance policy.
I gotta push back on it, brother. You know why? Because I'm a true believer that personnel is policy. I don't believe the quote unquote every police department in America is this big racist thing. I just don't believe in that to that extent. What I do believe is that a lot of the people that they hire have the quote unquote unconscious bias. And I'll say again, personnel is policy. So if you're going to hire these people who are already have this unconscious bias. They already think a particular way about Black folks. They don't value Black folks. They don't think much of Black folks. They don't consider Black folks to be equal. You can train the hell out of this guy. You can give him all type of parameters to work with inside of, but when he get out on that street, his prejudice, his bias, his bigotry, the way he thinks about people is going to come shining through. And not only that, he's a person who has authority. He has a gun. He has cuffs. He has a badge. And he has the backing of that whole municipality's government standing behind him. So I don't think all the laws you pass, all the incentives, make them carry private insurance, get rid of qualified immunity. Guess what? We will still, if they got rid of qualified immunity and all the stuff that you're talking about, brother Renaissance, if they did it tomorrow, this time next year, we'll be right back on here talking about a police killing, brother.
I gotta push.
I'll tell you how to fix the police situation.
The only reason I say that is right now these departments don't have any negative recourse as far as people getting charged, losing money. All this stuff is essentially paid for by the taxpayer. So to me, if you eliminate that incentive where there's going to be some skin in the game, there are going to be some negative consequences for leadership, for these departments, for financial incentives, people losing jobs. That's where I think the problem is, and they'll have more incentive to keep those people with biases out. I don't agree we'll ever get rid of it, but I think you can definitely minimize it.
You can minimize it by Black people knowing how to behave when the police pull up. That's how you minimize it. You can do all that other stuff. Police already have a bond. Okay, so you can do all this other stuff. When police pull up, take the L. Don't try to run. Don't try to fucking shoot them. Don't try to do it. That's how you're gonna minimize it. Who needs to be trained? We need to be trained on how to deal with the authorities.
Yeah, sometimes, man, we just gotta realize, man, that we've caught an L, man. I mean, when you get pulled over, your Black ass got warrants. That's an L, man. You got a warrant. You're going to jail. All right, that's what's happening. Whatever you did to get that warrant, you did it. All right, you was out long enough, and now they done caught up to your ass. So go ahead, take that L, get in them cuffs, get in that car, go to the fucking hoots gal, get in front of a judge, get your Black ass out. And if the cop did something wrong, if the district attorney did something wrong, if anybody in that situation did something wrong, you come at them from the back end. You come at them from the back end, man. You're not going to win that situation on the street. You're definitely not going to win it if you got a fucking gun on you. You're definitely not. You're probably going to end up dead. You're not going to win that shit. You're not going to win it by running. You're not going to win it by wrestling with the cops. You're not going to win it by saying, hey, you ain't got no right to lock me up. None of these things are winning strategies. You see people do these things all the time, and it always end up as a bigger L than it was in the beginning. It's not like these people do this shit and something spectacular happens and they end up getting away, or they end up not being arrested. You don't see this shit. What, like I said before, whatever happened to just going to jail, man? Just go your ass to jail and fight your case. Whatever happened to that? Since when do we think that somehow we're going to win this scuffle with full police? and it's just us, and we ain't got a gun, we ain't got a stick, we ain't got a knife, we ain't got shit. But somehow this is a W for us as we go toe to toe with these fine police who are armed. I mean, at some point, man, you gotta know. Sometimes you gotta know when to fight, and sometimes you gotta know when to just go ahead, man, and concede, man, and admit that you've lost this one. All right, you've lost this one, and I think that's the problem. I think a lot of times with these encounters with the police, a lot of times, man, we just don't want to take that fucking L. All right, we just need to fight. We think a miracle's gonna happen. That if we scuffle and fight, somehow, this shit ain't gonna turn out as bad as it already is. That doesn't make any sense to me, man.
No, here my only thing on that is I'm not making that argument of people shouldn't comply. I'm saying when you look at some of these cases, it's not just hey, people didn't comply. When you look at
that's the minority,
like John,
we're gonna keep it 100. And it's the majority of these videos when black people get, I'm talking about 85% of these, maybe higher. I'm always like, yo, this is gonna be the video right here where the nigga was literally doing nothing. I'll give you an example, Flando Castillo. Okay,
John Crawford.
Yeah, okay, we can name, but that's the small minority. Every time, for the most part, I never felt like, please, brother, don't do nothing stupid. Either try to pull off, try to fight the nigga, try to do some crazy shit. Like, bro, that's the vast majority. Why can't we keep it 100 about this? Like, we see the videos. They do sit your ass down. You stop giving these white folks a reason. What's so hard? That will fix, dog. That will fix the majority of the police problem right there when it comes to the killing. But no, when we say that, when we ask us to behave a little bit, oh wait, you're a coon.
You're a coon. We shouldn't have to be. We shouldn't have to be to the police.
You've never heard me say that, X, on Ramil. You've never heard me say that people are coon or people something wrong with people complying. I have nothing wrong with people complying and doing what the police says. Like I said, I just see what happens in instances where it has happened and people still end up hurt or dead.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It's been 10 unjustified unarmed shootings in the past year. So you're right. But 10 out of how many people? Well, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I get that. I get that part where there are brothers. Okay, I'm from New York, right? And there are quite a few brothers in New York who ended up dead, who weren't armed. They weren't criminals. They didn't have records. They didn't have a warrant. They didn't have a key of cocaine in their back pocket. None of that shit. And they ended up dead, right? So that proves the point that the police will kill your black ass for nothing. That alone should make you want to survive that encounter. If you know that going in, that police have killed people like Amadou Diallo, Patrick Dorsman, Ramali Graham, the list goes on and on with NYPD, the people they killed who were doing nothing. They weren't doing anything.
He just said, well, I don't mean to, but he just said vast majority. You just said the list goes on. But he's trying to make it seem like it's only one or two. It's only, and that's the problem.
Did I say that? Did I say that? Actually, I said 10. Actually, I said it was 10. That's what I said. I didn't say one or two. I said there was 10 unjustified unarmed shootings in the past year. That's what I said. Yeah. I didn't say one or two. Where you at with it? I don't know.
These shootings I'm talking about were from years ago. Back when I lived in New York. I'm just naming a few brothers, off the top of my head that I know, they were killed in New York and they weren't doing anything. They were just being themselves. And many of those times the police were in the wrong place. They were looking for the wrong people. They had knocked on the wrong door, all that kind of shit. We know that is a thing. Yes, that's a thing. That's why I don't want y'all out there scuffling with the police and shooting at the police. All the more reason not to do it, because they don't need a reason to kill your ass. So don't give them one. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. That's all. That's all.
And I 100% agree. Just don't give them a reason. Why is it so hard to just ask, like, look, man, don't give them a reason. so you can live and get your money later. I mean, I just don't understand why we can't process that. It's like asking black people to do that, to be logical. It's like asking black people to hand over the world. It's like, you know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Life is too good to be playing around with these white folks, man. Like, it's not worth it. These people, it's not worth it, man. You gonna make their day. They ready. I seen the video the other day from that cop. Oh yeah, the best sex ever is after you kill. They ready. So why do you stop giving them a reason, man? Like I can't say it more clear than that.
So let me ask you this though, too, Ramil. Do you don't think we need to do anything about people in authority having that mentality? Because you all said that, hey, these people are legally authorized to shoot you. Do you think we should just not pay it any attention that people have that authority?
It's not a problem at all. And if we bring that up, we're hoteps. See, when they bring it up, they're cool. If we talk, well, I'm just saying. And brother,
I was about to answer.
I respect Brother X because he's coming from a standpoint of, look, guys, I understand a lot of these cops ain't shit. A lot of them are cool. A lot of them ain't shit. It is what it is. Just do what you got to do to survive.
Can I answer the
That's
question?
the standpoint he's coming from. But a lot of the coons are saying, no, dude, there's no racism. There's no racism.
Did I say that? Did I say that? Once again, right, you put words in my mouth again. You keep putting words in my mouth, bro. Like that's your fifth time doing that. No, I didn't say that. Okay, first of all, the mentality situation, you're gonna have to hire better people. What's that gonna? That's gonna mean more money, more tax money. So you're gonna have that comes with you us getting our shit together in these neighborhoods so we can pay these property taxes. So the mentality, you can't change somebody's mentality. To get into the police, it's minimal requirements. You want to raise them up, then organize and pass a law so that the standards to be police officers is higher. I didn't say there's no racism in the police academy.
I just need us to meet in the middle when it comes to this topic, and I'm gonna be done after I throw one more thing out. But I wish we could be done. And let's just say this: when we get, let's make a deal. When black people get pulled over, we shut the fuck up, we abide, and we do what we're told, right? But let's also admit that shit like 2006, 2020, under Trump administration, FBI reports, Harvard reports, Yale reports, all kinds of reports admitting that we do have a problem with white extremists in this country infiltrating law enforcement, military agencies, medical jobs, all kinds. You got nurses getting outed on Facebook calling black people niggas.
So what are you going to do about it? Oh, they called you. What you going to do about it, bro?
That's
why at the end of the day, hold on. At the end of the day, one more thing. Regardless of the mentality that they have, at the end of the day, the numbers say, despite all these white extremists, they still ain't killing niggas like that.
But Ramil, here's my thing. You said the world is going to be hostile, which I agree. So my point is, don't we have to do something about all of these people with hostile mentalities in positions of authority that can destroy or harm us, even if they're necessarily not?
Okay, so that's talking about changing laws now.
Exactly. That's when you come to organization.
But that's what I was talking about earlier. When I was talking about police reform, that's what
he's talking about. When we empower ourselves, then we can affect change politically, down the blah, 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 blah. So that's why I agree with Ramil. The answer is empowerment. But I'm going to say this and I'm done. I don't see us going anywhere until we get this black woman in line, ladies and gentlemen. I don't see it. Until we get this black family in line, I don't see us getting these communities together, thus getting the group economics together, supporting businesses, thus getting power politically. You see what I'm saying? All of this is connected. So until this gender war shit goes away, I don't see it.
You don't need black women. You don't need black women to acquiesce to go get some power. You don't. Woman has nothing to do with organizing politically. That's a man's job. Here's where the woman mess up. The woman mess up because they don't know how to choose the right mate, right? But as men, it's men who got to march into these political forms. It's men who got to create the economic infrastructure.
So who are we passing it down to, brother? Who are we passing it down? Who we passing all this work down to then? Once we do all this, what are we passing it down to? And who's
this is where we go into the points where I have some ideas. People think it's the extreme, but extreme situations calls for extreme measures. Look, y'all still thinking that this woman she's never gonna behave. I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. When I want to have a child, I'm having a surrogate. I have 100% legal control. I'm not raising no child with no female. That child's going to be my 100% control. Any children I do have is going to be through a surrogate. I'm going to pay the money because you gonna be waiting forever if you're gonna wait for this female to act right. I don't need her to progress and to get some power. She's not gonna play ball. The only way they're gonna play ball is if they're facing death on the other side. Like either cooperate with this competent black man or you die. Until that situation comes through, it ain't gonna happen. So I'm not waiting on no black woman to change her behavior. Let her play in her little cesspool of filth. You know what I'm saying?
No, I just want to say this before then I'll jump down. I think we actually agree. That like TVA said, when police pull black men over, they need to comply. They need to follow instructions, and if something goes awry, they need to deal with it after the encounter is over in court. I agree 100%. I just, like I said, I just wanted to come up because I wanted clarity on the piece about the hostility. Because like I said, and I think we agree that we can't sit back and let extremists get into the military or in police departments and go unchecked and just ignore it on the other end either. We got to do what, like I said, we got to comply on our end, but we also got to keep people, if we're going to build something up, we got to keep people out of those positions and the ability to abuse us. That's all I got.
Yeah, well, you're talking about attacking from the top now. When when you're out on the road and you get pulled over by the police, they're on the bottom. All right.
The that's
the bottom. You know, that kind of thing you're talking about, Brother Renaissance, you're talking from the top now, right? Because shit rolls downhill, right? So if you want policies to be enacted, it's got to start from the top and then it'll roll down, you know, to the people at the bottom. Because I'll say again, those officers, those patrolmen, those city cops, and those
they all report to the police chief.
Yes, they're at the bottom. They have a commander. They have a structure that they have to follow. Therefore, if you want to change the way they operate, you got to change their structure. You got to change their whole structure. And even with that, I'll give you that the structure, there is a possibility that the structure can change. But I'm a true believer that no matter how much structure you put into these police departments, no matter how many rules you put on them, no matter how many consent decrees that the feds jump in and align with the police are still going to be killing black folks. I'm a true believer in that. I'm a believer that there's something I've been saying for years now. You know, there will be more. I don't think I'm going to live to see a time where the police are not killing black people. And I know people hear that and be, oh, X-Man, why you all say that? All right, 2 years from now, if no one else has been killed by the police, I'll retract my statement. But we know that that's not going to be the case. It's going to be another one next month. It's going to be another one 3 months after that. There's going to be another one New Year's Eve. Police are going to kill black folks, man. Why? Because police are always going to be where black folks are, meaning that police are always going to be pulling up on black folks. Police are always going to be pulling black people over. Police are always going to be answering calls where black people are having confrontations and fights and shootings and robberies. Police are always going to be where black people are. Therefore, there's always going to be a killing. And it's definitely going to be a killing if you got people out there shooting at the police, fighting the police, running from the police, or trying to run the police over with their car, whatever they're doing. You're definitely going to get shootings of people then, because like I always say, personnel is policy. No matter how good you train some of these folks, no matter what the protocol is, no matter what the rules are, no matter what the federal consent decree is, this fool gonna get out there and shoot him a Negro. That's all.
Yeah, damn, doom and gloom. Niggas is gonna be getting shot. Niggas is gonna stay getting shot. I mean, God, he ain't gonna try to blow some smoke up our ass and try to make us feel better about it.
Nope.
Yeah, man.
Because you know I'm right, brother TV.
I mean, God, but you just know, nigga, you put the time on it. 3 months from now, brother niggas gonna get shot.
Brother TVA. TVA. You know that. I know. The last person that got killed by the police is not going to be the last person killed by the police.
Well, I agree with what Ramil said. When it comes to our response, we keep doing the same shit. over and fucking over again, protesting, may tear up some shit. The family might get a payout. Benjamin Crump's mush mouth mumbling ass gets up there talking about get the better bam man and with all this other shit, and then it happens again. Another nigga gets shot. So I agree with that. I agree, but my whole thing is just. I just need some balance. That's all I'm saying, because you do have certain types out here that are on the side. Again, I respect your perspective, Brother X, and yours, Ramil, if you're coming from the same way, because you're saying, hey, there are corrupt police out there. This is a problem, but we need to respond in a certain way. This is how we need to respond. And I agree with Ramil. Ultimately, the solution is to empower ourselves. For right now, comply, do what you got to do. But as far as attacking the problem from the top, we need to empower ourselves. I agree with you both on that. Okay. But you do have certain types that are on this. Nah, man, there's no problem, man. And there's no problem. There's no racism. What are you talking about? I don't know about my white buddies are nice. You know what I'm saying? I got a white bitch at home.
That's not the case, bro. Like I got a lawsuit against the police, bro. Right now.
Nobody's saying that.
I'm not pro-police. I'm not anything. But when I say we got to work it from the top, it sounds like I'm saying nothing wrong with the police, but I'm not saying nothing wrong with the police. I'm not pro-police. I'm suing them right now for lying on me on the case that I beat on the marijuana possession. It's just that I know that to counteract the problem is going to be an institutional fight. So, yes. But I'm not saying that police are nothing wrong with them. But when you look at the numbers, we definitely over-exaggerate what they are doing. You know what I mean? This is over-exaggeration. You know what I mean? When's the last time you encountered the police, TVA?
Shit, it was actually about a month ago. I got pulled over seatbelt. Now I'm gonna admit, man, I usually have very good encounters with the cops.
Exactly, brother. Go ahead, my bad.
Say that again.
I run into some rude ones. Yeah, I run into some rude ones, but I mean, I don't yes a boss it. Kissing his ass. But look, I'm just trying to get on down the road. So if yes, sir, no, sir, I'll stroke your little ego, sign a little paper. If you give me a ticket, a lot of times I get away with a warning because I'll joke with you, whatever like that. Cool, whatever. But at the same time, I'm showing hands. You know what I'm saying? You're not my buddy. I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure. And this happened one time. Cop pulled me over. It was an Asian cop. I'll never forget. Here in Atlanta, pulled me over. Cool dude. Ended up. Pull me over, man. My Glock was sitting there in the motherfucking in the glove box. And I told him there's a gun there. I don't want. He said, "Go ahead." I said, "Man," and I could see in his face he kind of felt bad. It seemed like he kind of felt bad because I wasn't scared, like jittering, but I'm letting him know, like, "Hey, man, I don't trust that. I want him to just go around and get the shit out himself." What would you suggest in that situation, by the way? Like. We mentioned Philando Castile, and I mentioned that in the first debate. I mean, that's a case that still bothers me because we tell black people do this, that, this, that, this, that. And again, I even admit I act a certain way and I've had success, but we got these cases, man. So what do we tell black people when something like a Philando Castile happens?
What his name? Well, go ahead.
I will give you that, brother TVA. There are some really bad cops out there. I mean, no, I don't think anyone can dispute that some of these cops have no business on the force. And I believe when it comes to the cases of brothers like Philando Castile, he happened to run into a cop that probably didn't have no business on being on the force in the first place, man. I will concede that argument all day long. Some of these guys are just horrible cops, man. They just are. I mean,
and I'm also concede. Here's the thing: if you're one of those 10 unjustified, unarmed killings that just so happen to have a bad luck, I mean, this is a rare. We're talking about a rare, super rare occasion. That's like saying you just so happen to get on the plane that day and then decided to go down. I mean, those situations that the media takes it and blows it up. Sometimes you're going to encounter those people who have no business on the force, and it's really nothing you can say because things happen in life that is just fucked up. So if you're one of those rare cases where you didn't do anything and the police just pull up on you and capture you, then it's sad to say, but that's one of those things where bad things happen. It's never going to be perfect. Nothing's going to be perfect. Like I said, plane crashes, the rate of a plane crash is what? Like 0.000 something. It rarely happens, but it happens. So look, I mean, my sympathy and empathy goes out for them, and they could be any one of us. But those are the exceptions to the rule. I can't dwell on that because those are rare circumstances. And if I so happen to be that rare circumstance, I mean, what can you do if you just so happen to be the person who was at the wrong place at the wrong time? It's nothing you can really do about that, but it's rare. So I can't dwell on something that rarely happens.
Yeah, because you have bad people in all professions. You have bad cops, you have bad doctors, bad lawyers, bad store managers, bad receptionists at freaking Walmart. You have bad firemen. You know, you have bad construction workers. I mean, you know, personnel is policy. I can't say that shit enough. And I'll say again, I mean, some of these people, man, who have did some of these things and shot these brothers down, and they're just horrible fucking cops because they're horrible people. All right? They're just horrible, racist, prejudiced, bigoted, discriminatory people, and that shit bleeds into what they do for a living. Likewise with a prejudiced doctor, a prejudiced fireman, a prejudiced a receptionist at the department store, a prejudiced plumber, a prejudiced electrician. I mean, you know, that stuff has a tendency to bleed into their occupation. The only difference is with the cop, he's got a fucking gun. All right. So when his prejudices and bigotry bleed into his occupation, people die. That's all.
That's true. That's true. Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, man, I've never been on this blame the white man. It's not about that at all, dude. I'm just trying to get some balance. I think we can acknowledge the dumb nigga shit and how that. And look, I will say this for the record. People will continue to call me a hotep after saying this. I don't care. I'm going to say, when it comes to where we sit, where we stand as a race, I'm going to say 70% of it is our fault. I'm going to say it's 70% our fault.
Uh-oh, brother TVA.
So, calling me a hotep, brother. You heard it.
Coon, that's coon talk.
No, it's not. No,
welcome to the coon train. Welcome to the coon train, TVA.
No, I'm not. I'm not Anthony Brian Logan. I'm not your Brandon Tatum. I'm not about to sit up here. No, you see, but you get what I'm saying, Ed. See, you understand the balance. You understand the balance. You get where I'm coming from.
I get it. But they'll still say that's coon talk, though. I'm just saying, you know,
that's true, and I get on them too. That's the thing. The hoteps, you got the cones and the hotep. I got a problem with both extremes. The hoteps want to blame the white man. It's all white people's fault, and they don't want to have any accountability when it comes to the black community, and that pisses me the fuck off. It's a problem. And I just said 70%, okay? But you got the cones over here, man, that want to pretend like there is no racism. There is no, and on top of that, they make excuse after excuse for whites. Again, like I said before, I am not the biggest fan of Kaepernick, but I'm trying to understand how, for instance, you got Negroes that keep holding up Donald Trump as this free speech advocate, but he's calling for Kaepernick to get fired over a protest. Donald Trump tried to sue a comedian over a doggone joke. See, this is the fake shit that I'm tired of in the manosphere. This you know, the people riding Trump's dick the whole doggone 8 years, holding him up as this super conservative and this dude is super sensitive. This guy believes in censorship more, and on top of that, he blatantly violated Kaepernick's First Amendment rights. I have yet to have anybody address this. You had a sitting president call for an American citizen to be fired for an opinion, a political opinion. That's a violation of the Constitution. And then you say, I remember this, Ramil, you said earlier, George Floyd. He had a criminal record. So I just need some clarification. Are we throwing away brothers that committed crimes or not? Because on one hand, I'm hearing, we can reform brothers. We don't need to throw brothers away because they made some mistakes. But on the other hand, it's fuck George Floyd because he sold some drugs and he made some mistakes.
Let me tell you why I said fuck George. Because, dog, I am a criminal. well, a former criminal. Okay. Okay. So here's the real answer to this. Okay. Let me tell y'all the truth. Most niggas, and you can get involved in the system. The recidivism rate will tell you this. It's not going to reform. It's just the truth. I'm not trying to be an asshole to the guys, but that's just the truth. Okay. The reason why I say fuck George Floyd is because the nigga was almost 50, didn't have his shit together, still on drugs, had, you know what I'm saying, had then the crime he commit. Now, if that was your baby mother that he robbed with the child in the room, you would be saying fuck that nigga too. The reason why I say fuck him is because he was too old to be living like that. Okay, and if that's the lifestyle you're gonna choose, and you're not gonna be beneficial to the community or anything, you're not gonna be productive.
I'm trying to understand though, because you just said I didn't know this. I didn't know this. You have
all the time. Yeah.
Okay, so should we throw you away as a community? I'm not understanding how.
Here's the thing. Yeah, you can throw me away, but the thing about this is that I'm not special. The only thing about me is that I'm the nigga right now employing black people. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one, quote unquote, exploiting black people. I said, you know what? I can't get it in the streets, so I'm gonna get it legally. Now my legal hustle, I just apply the same street rules, and now a lot of the straight and narrow black people will have to work for me. But the thing is that, yeah, you can throw me away, but if I'm hiring the people, then I bully my way back in. I'm not doing the same lifestyle as before. Reform is rare. It's just the truth, man. Reform is rare, bro. Like, if I was still in the streets, and I would, like I said earlier, if I was still in the streets and I got popped and y'all started marching for me, my soul, I would have looked down and said, what the fuck y'all niggas doing? Why y'all marching for me?
It's a goddamn lie. You know damn well you would have been having niggas subscribe to his channel. Subscribe.
I'm not. I
want a tribute panel.
No. I'm not in the streets now, but when I was in the streets, I wasn't on YouTube. I wasn't on YouTube when I was.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm not be on YouTube and still. Now we're talking about a while ago.
I misunderstood. I got.
Yeah, we're talking about a while ago, bro. Like so. But
I'm just saying,
bro, I was part of the problem. If you want,
are we throwing brothers away for having criminal records or not?
It depends on the actions. It depends on the It depends on the life that they decide to live when they get out. If they're gonna go back to the same thing.
George Floyd wasn't robbing anybody, from what I understand. He wasn't victimizing it. He was doing drugs and the $20 bill, which could have been a mistake. I mean, that happens all the time.
Let me say this: when I say fuck George Floyd, he don't deserve all this energy. He don't. Because you wouldn't mess with George Floyd in real life. You would not. He was a J. He was a crackhead, bro. You wouldn't in real life. TVA, you would not be hanging out with a guy like George Floyd.
To have us be choked to death like that, like a damn dog. Man, you got white people in this country that would demand you be killed if they saw you on camera doing that to a fucking canine, Ramil. Come on.
That's them. That's the white people. I'm talking about for black people. Here's the thing with black people.
Black people deserved it and fuck them and all that. Come on, man.
Because he's all this energy towards a J and a crackhead when we got black people like yourself. If anything, all the energy should be going towards black people who did the correct thing. But why all this energy for a crackhead, bro? I just don't understand it, because at the end of the day, there's more important black people who deserve that energy. Y'all always talk about the Pookie and Ray Ray get all the energy, but y'all steady giving Pookie and Ray Ray all this energy. I don't understand.
Well, me being from the suburbs, I was always told to not judge other black people for being from those areas. I'm sorry, Ed.
Let me ask everybody this. If brother George Floyd had been killed by another Negro in the same fashion, would we be having this conversation? Nope. If that was just an ordinary Negro, not a cop, just another Negro he got a beef with, over the fake $20 bill. Say a brother would have ran out of the bodega and say, "Hey man, that's a fake $20 bill." He got the scuffling and he got the best of him and had his knee on his neck and killed him out there. Would we be having this conversation?
You mean to tell if you had a nigga choking another nigga out on camera for 10 minutes in the middle of the street?
Yes.
Not as much, no, because he's not a cop. No.
We wouldn't be having this conversation, because once you put white and you put cop into the equation and you combine that with social media and ABC and NBC and CBS and CNN and Fox and MSNBC, now we have what you see. Now we have an outrage. Now we have the protests, the marches, the advocates standing on their bully pulpit. Even politicians get into it. Why? Because this shit has been sensationalized. And I say again, George Floyd, Dante Wright, Ahmaud Arbery, the girl who just got shot, Michaela, Anthony Thompson. These are the ones we see. The ones we don't see are just that. The ones we don't see. Therefore, we're not outraged about them. We're not upset about them. And a lot of these people died horrific, horrible shootings and deaths as well. But we don't see them. So we don't care about them. So let me put this before you, good folks. We as Black people, have we fallen to the whole out of sight, out of mind? Do we only get charged up when we see a particular case get played over and over in our minds? Are we now back on the whole, oh my God, I can't believe the police are brutalizing people? But we as Black people know that this is happening all the time. So why are we only mad when we see it on TV? Why are we only mad when we see it on the internet? Especially when we know it's happening all the time. Shouldn't we always be marching? Shouldn't we always be mad? Shouldn't we always be protesting the police? Shouldn't we always be jumping up and down at City Hall? Shouldn't we always be doing it? Or can we only do it when we see George Floyd die? Can we only do it when we see Ahmaud Arbery die? Can we only do it when we see Anthony Thompson die? That's what I want to know.
Well, I just hope Ramil does a panel on that race war theory stuff he was talking about earlier, because I do have some disagreements on that. Well, yeah, you said something about a race war, and you had some opinions. I didn't really disagree.
You think Black people can win a race war, bro? You think Black people can win a race war right now?
Listen. It's complicated. It's complicated. I'm not going, because this isn't a debate. I'd want to like debate you on something like that. But yeah, another time. I got to go anyway. But I appreciate
Ramil only debates PhDs from here on out.
What? Say what?
He only debates PhDs from here on in.
I just say you gotta have some, like, you gotta be, because if I'm 10 and 0, you gotta be like,
Yeah, well, I grant him that privilege in the league because he's the only undefeated person in the whole league, and there's, I don't know, 40 or 50 guys in it, and he's the only undefeated person. Therefore, he gets the kind of call how he wants to debate.
Well, hey man, that's how when you got the belt, you know what I'm saying? You got I respect it. You got to get in there, you got to work your way up. I respect
the belt.
Hey man, salute to brother Ramil, man. I salute y'all, man.
All right, man.
Brother TVA.
TVA.
Peace, brother. We've been joined by Brother Hulk. What's good with it, Brother Hulk?
Hey man, what's going on? Man, this topic, man, is crazy, because here's the thing. Let's take the people who take their white supremacy like it's the system narrative. Here's the thing. Black people need to understand you cannot legislate someone's ability not to care. No amount of policy, because Black folks tend to think that when it comes to people doing evil, not an incompetent job, but evil, that's a matter of training or the fact that they're paid. But that's a matter that can't be legislated through the law. And it's the same problem that Black people have with themselves. Like, the problem that Black folks have with white people is the same problem they have with themselves. Black people are just as incompetent in high positions and other positions. If you look at the system, those are highly trained people at the very top of the system that are corrupt. So corruption is just the nature of the world. It's not going anywhere because it starts at the very top. And Black people don't realize that as much as they want to defund the police, as much as they want to, and I know what that means, it doesn't mean disband, I know what it means, but what do we actually see happening in real time? We see Black folks protesting after every shooting that the media polarizes, and then what happens? The National Guard shows up. Does it look like what they want is actually happening, or does it look like the government is getting ready to just bring the military into the cities and just put everybody in this perpetual state where, okay, y'all don't want police. They already look, there was an article in New York, they already got a police dog testing out, robotic police dog, robotic. They giving people what they want. And guess what? You ain't gonna be able to yell your Black Lives Matter against a robot. But guess what? That robot is still gonna be compelled to make you obey the law. And it's not going to have the discretion that a person could have to actually give you a warning or let you go. See, what the system is trying to do is create this socially engineered chaos. This is why they cherry pick cases. I mean, people die everywhere, all over the world, all over the country. People are dying everywhere. They cherry pick cases that they can manipulate to galvanize and make people emotional. Because, like you said, X, what does this lead to? People asking the very same government they claim is so corrupt to do something that they say the government doesn't have a track record of being honest, fair. So the government never had a track record. I mean, when was the government ever fair? When was it ever fair? Any government, any world, forget the United States, go back to all ancient civilization. Do you think any king, any emperor was ever fair? Like, what kind of justice? And I'm gonna say this because I was thinking it. Black people actually expect the police officers to be Jesus. They don't even believe in him, but they expected the police to look at them like the biblical Jesus will look at you. Oh, I'm just gonna forget all your wrongdoings and forgive you and give you a pass. Y'all don't believe in that, and that's on a higher level. We live in the world. All right, the world is governed by people. We do evil. Everybody has a propensity to do evil. It's not going nowhere. No legislation is going to change that.
Nope.
The system, let me tell you something. The system is as good as it's going to get. This is the only country in the world where you can have the luxuries of being who we are. Because if you look at people in other countries, they get shot like it's nothing every day. And guess what people realize? Not to mess with the police. They don't even sit there and try to protest because they'll just waste a whole gang of people, and then business as usual the next day. Is that what? Because and it's like they want to create that kind of society. This is the best opportunity in the world where you can have opportunity to go from nothing to something. It doesn't happen like this anywhere else. You got communist China. You can go anywhere else. It don't happen like this in Latin America. It don't happen. This is the only country where you can go from literally nothing and become a lot. Now, when you start going up the levels, will you have to engage in corruption? I'm pretty sure. But notice how Black people don't have a problem engaging in corruption when they're benefiting from it. We see how many Black people get in these political positions, and they doing the same thing they accuse white people of doing, corrupt, money laundering, and all this stuff. So maybe it's the power that corrupts. It's not their color. Maybe it's the power. And if you put anybody in that position, you get corruption. That's like, I think Obama was a horrible president. But people like him because he said good things. Good things don't mean nothing in the real world. He told y'all a lie and y'all bought it, and he just brought in the LGBT community. Full blast. Everything is now them. And nothing, we had more Black stuff going on prior to a Black president. Now what are they saying? Asian lives matter. So they just said, forget y'all altogether. and it's like, oh, go ahead. My bad, X.
I wanna wanna because I want to piggyback on your point, brother Hulk. I'm in North Carolina, right? And I believe it was turn this on. I believe it was 3 to 4 days ago that this happened. No, actually it was the 21st. So it's been a little more than a week. Do y'all know who this brother is? Y'all know who this brother is right here?
Yeah, that's the guy. They waiting for the footage to come out, right? They say he got killed. Did they release the footage yet or no?
No, that's my point that I was gonna jump on, which brother Hulk was saying. This brother here, his name is Andrew Brown, and he was killed a week ago here in North Carolina. I think he's about 90 minutes from where I'm at right now, where I'm sitting. If I drove 90 minutes, I would be to where he's at. I believe it was in Elizabeth City, Bladen County, over there where where my grandmother and aunts and uncles are from. And he was killed by the police, shot in the back of the head. And the ironic thing about it is that the judge ruled to not, let me repeat, not in OT to release the footage. The judge ruled to not release the footage of Andrew Brown's killing. So
they're not gonna release it at all.
Well, so far, the latest ruling is that they are not going to release it. Of course, Crump is on that case because it seems like Crump represents every single family that loses someone to the police. Crump is there. It's like magic. He's like
A
this
money grab.
yeah, he's not an ambulance chaser. He's a coroner wagon chaser. He chases the coroner wagon, and he's there. And I'm assuming he's fighting to get this released. I'm sure he is. Well, actually, I think it was in for Pasquotank County. I think it was. I said Bladen County. I know it's close to Bladen County. It's Pasquotank County. And they're not releasing the footage at all, which is a sure sign of corruption, of course. The man was shot in the back of the head, and how it is now is the way they're framing it is that they had every right to shoot him, and we have no intention on showing the public any footage. I also believe that they did show the family a short snippet, like a
20 seconds or something.
20 second, and that's it. They're not even showing it to them. So, I mean, like Brother Ramil said, and like Brother Hulk said, the system is going to be what the system is. The question is, we as Black people, what are we going to do about it? But
let me tell you something, man. People don't realize. See, Black people wouldn't even know what to do if the system did collapse. We don't have the infrastructure to replace it, and then they don't realize that if anything, everything will be federal. You want a federal police? You think that's going to be better? You want martial law? Think that's going to be better? People don't understand. In the military, if the military goes into military martial law effect, they have the right to shoot you and be all right with it. It's perfectly fine in the state of emergency with military martial law. Headshots. Military is not trained to negotiate. So if they think that getting rid of the police and bringing in military or robots is a better alternative, I just don't understand where they get this notion that this spiritual sense of justice, where you want a human being to treat you like you want to be treated, comes from in a world built on money and power. Like people don't realize in the world, the spiritual justice ain't in the courtroom. It never was. It never was. That's why When we tell black men be wise, if you can die doing nothing, how much more can you die being a fool?
Exactly.
It's about increasing your probability of survival, not guaranteeing it. You
Yeah.
die by you might get in a car accident. There's nothing that will guarantee survival, but you're supposed to structure your life that maximize the potential of you surviving and living in longevity, and that has a lot to do with how you structure your life, your how personal responsible you are, how accountable you are for your choices, the life you live, the value system, the choices you make. If you live a life of criminality, that increases your choices. Look, we none of us have been perfect, but I guarantee you, when any of us were in our most foolish time, we realized, man, we were lucky that that wasn't worse.
Yeah.
I don't have no kids, but when I was out really handling these women out here, I'm grateful that I didn't have no oops babies. Grateful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or when I got in situations with the police that could have went ugly. I'm grateful they didn't. Does it mean I don't feel like I'm above? I'm owed this perfect life, or life owes it to me to be fair. That never existed. Where do people get this fantasy from? That never existed. People want something that never existed. Like it's almost like people have this fantasy of Wakanda, a whole black society, but they don't assume even if the world was all black, with the way people are, it will still just be as much evil.
Yeah.
Like that's what they don't want. People don't want to have that discussion. Evil is inherent to people, not just white people. And when black people understand that, guess what? They'll start dealing with their own evil and less about the evil they can't control in other people. Because the more you control yourself, the more discernment and more influence you will have to avoid other people in bad situations who have evil. It's like the same. It's the same thing we tell these dudes about women. You control your life. Nobody forced you to walk into these situations. You had pure autonomy to do what you wanted. You know, it's like people love the fruits of free will. I get to do what I want. And I always say this: people love evil, but they hate the consequences of the evil they love. You know, it's
Exactly.
like victimhood only leads to government control. There's never victimhood would never lead to another human being valuing your life. Never. All at best, what they'll do is use your death to push another agenda
Mhm.
that doesn't have nothing to do with you. So
Yeah. And look, you can't assume that the very people that you claim are so evil and so corrupt, how can you expect equality and fair treatment from these people? I know I would assume that people that I think are so corrupt, I think they're so racist, I think they're so bigoted, I'm going in assuming that they are going to treat me different. They're going to treat
right.
me with bigotry. They're going to treat me with discriminatory practices and bias because this is what I labeled them as. So if I think they're this big biased, racist, prejudiced boogeyman, how can I now walk to this racist, prejudiced boogeyman and say, you know what? Could you please treat me equal and treat me nice and don't violate me, even though this is what I say you do and this is what I describe your character as, but I don't want you to exhibit any of that character. I want you to be nice. I want you to come out of this quote unquote characterization that I have laid upon you. I don't understand that.
Hey,
I
brother,
don't
listen
I
to
don't
this,
get it.
brother.
I don't get it.
Our own, and I'm speaking from personal experience. Our own biological parents can choose not to give a shit about us.
Mhm,
Your own biological parents can say, I don't want to have shit to do with you in your life. If
mhm.
your own parents who your mother who birthed you in this world can discard you, where do you get this expectation on another human being who's just being paid by an entity that has the interest of another entity that ain't you? Like, okay, you're at the mercy of a good cop, bad cop, But that's in everything. You're at the mercy of a good. If you do business, everybody that does business know that you have people. You can make networks with people, good business networks, and bad. That's this life. There's good and bad in everything. What you
Yes.
learn is experience, trial and error. You gain wisdom through all of these things to learn how to discern and structure your life a certain way where you can minimize things as best you can. But there's good and bad in everything. It's never going to be an all good police force, an all good government, or all good anything. Matter of fact, here's the thing, man. Everything has always been corrupt. Like,
Mhm.
did we learn? What did we learn from the civil rights movement? What happened when you put your rights into the hands of another person? They hijack. They use you as a victim, and then use your deaths, your tragedies to catapult their own agenda. Feminism, alternative lifestyle people came in the name of civil rights. So
I
we
don't
didn't
know,
learn from
man.
civil rights, I guess. Like we didn't learn anything.
It's
you
almost
know,
like it's almost like we didn't learn shit from anything. We didn't even learn from our quote unquote small victories because we still repeating the same shit.
that's what I'm
I see
saying.
I see that brother Ramil said he gotta go. I appreciate you, brother Ramil, for coming through, man.
Yeah, respect, man.
My
You
dude.
you did your thing, man. You did your thing as usual.
You
And I
know you
appreciate
all
it.
you know you always welcome here, man, and I'm gonna get that PhD,
It don't have to
man.
be a PhD. It's either got to be somebody with some heavy credentials. Don't got to be PhD. It can be bachelor. Somebody with credentials or somebody with a huge name. You know what I mean?
Got you.
So it don't
Got
got to
you.
be no PhD. It's got to be somebody.
No,
It got to be
it's
epic. You know what I
oh yeah.
mean?
There's gonna be somebody with some letters behind their name,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I'm determined to make that happen. But
Okay.
I appreciate you, my brother, for coming through, man. Good shit tonight, man. And I see you on the side, brother.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks for
respect,
having me,
man.
man. Salute to spiritual. Thanks a lot for having me on. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to the channel too. So I'm out of here
Yeah.
and I'll probably drop my link down there and then
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Spam it. Do what you got to do, man. Y'all get on
thank,
down there, subscribe to Brother Ramil if you ain't did it already. Negroes.
all right, thanks for having me, man. I'm out of here.
Peace.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Yeah, man. I just think that we as a society, I think we have more control over our outcomes than we admit. I think that, and once again, I go back to the looking inward as opposed to looking outward thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have more control over our societies, our lifestyles, our economics, our families. I think we have more control over that shit, man, than we're willing to admit. And when shit fails and shit goes left, we can always fall back on it's the white power structure, it's the white man, it's the this, it's the that. I just think we give too much goddamn I just think we give too much credit to white folks, and we place the blame on white folks for every single thing. And if you're going to do that, if you're going to blame the white power structure for everything, that means you also have to blame it for the good shit that happens too.
Yep.
Now,
Exactly.
now people don't want to hear that either. They don't want to.
Capitalism is
Yeah, they don't want to.
only
Yeah, they don't
country
want to
where
hear
you
that
can make
either.
that money. They don't
Yeah,
complain about making that money, but they don't realize
yeah,
that the money has to come from somewhere. Someone has to lose for somebody to win.
yep,
That's
yep,
capitalism, folks.
yep. If you want to blame, if you the type of person who likes to blame white folks for every single thing, guess what? The good things are wrapped up in that every single thing too. So when good shit happen to black people, you got to go ahead and give white folks the credit, I guess, because you blame white people for everything,
But
everything.
here's the
Go
thing,
ahead.
and this is how important we got to realize that your first protest has to be your own life. If we as black people can't even maintain a sense of ethics when we get into high positions and we can't even maintain the same morality when we get to high offices and why don't people black police officers get caught doing stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody says anything.
Yeah.
You know, like we all talk about Baltimore, black mayor, black chief prosecutor, mostly black police force, black city council, majority black population. Crime was through the roof.
Yeah.
And under the Obama's presidency, black president, black attorney general, black a whole bunch of stuff. But you know, it's like, okay, so we realize that even when black people are in these positions, corruption still happens. Why? Oh, maybe because it's a people problem more than it's a race problem. That's why black people have struggling with their own evils as well as the evils of other people. No one's negating that white folks have evil. We're just saying that evil is a problem with everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why how you live your life, you know, matters more than what you trying to control someone else, because trying to legislate free will, y'all ain't seen slavery
Yeah.
until they take away your free will. You don't want to go to China or any of these places that are closer to slavery through communism than anything, where they got you basically under 24-hour surveillance and you can't do nothing without the government giving you permission. And we move into that society now as people collapse the system, and that's what's happening. You know, it's interesting that throughout all human civilization, we understood that life and death just were natural occurrences, that good and evil were natural occurrences, and that the best thing that people could do is structure their life through a value system, through family, through trying not to be dependent on these hierarchies, but have an internal, not just internal within yourself, but an internal through your family structure so that you have something to fall back on. But we threw all that away. You know, we threw out the family, you know, because, you know, people don't, you know, look, the system laid the trap, but we had to take it.
Yeah.
No one's making men just go around recklessly impregnating hoes. No one's making anybody do that. We understand that women are going to get as wild as the system allows them to be. So no one's taking them off the hook, but we have to hold accountability to the men who know this and are still being idiots.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't.
one thing a hard life and adversity taught me is that how bad it is, how bad poverty is, how bad the struggles. Like adversity should be making us. We should be the wisest people coming from adversity. Why are we the dumbest?
You would think, right, with all the shit, because you always hear how much shit, black folks, we went through this, we went through that, we went through all this, but we claim to have gone through more shit, in this country than anyone else. So that means we should be more battle tested. We should be more enlightened. We should be more aware. We should have greater understanding of how the world works.
Yeah.
We have quite a big number of people that are living in poverty. So
Yep.
we should understand, how to kind of avoid that, how to get out of that, because we've seen it so much.
Experience is the best teacher.
Yeah, you would think we would be the most prepared, we would be the most enlightened, we would be the most wise, we would be the most battle tested, all of that shit. But it always seems like, even when you talk about, these things, when you talk about criminality and police
Mhm.
brutality, it seems like we are the only people who get caught up in the minutia of
Yep.
those two things.
Yep.
I mean, we're the only people who have these kind of conversations where we're actually pitting black criminality, or should I say a society's criminality, versus the police brutality on said society. I guess because it's been ginned up to the point where if you look at it, right, if you look at it percentage wise, right, percentage wise, black folks are more likely to get shot percentage wise. But if you go
Mhm.
by the raw numbers, they kill more white people than they kill black people. Now, that's because there's more white people, right? So what leads me to say what I'm about to say is this: if it was as many of us as it is white people, I think that the numbers would probably be higher. I think
But
the
you know
numbers
what?
would be higher.
As you brought up a good point. Do you know if the system worked perfectly, it would increase the number of black people in the system?
Yes.
It's the fact that the system is so reckless, even though it does target black people, but because the it has its weaknesses, because people don't realize with the way black people move, if the system was across the board correct, it would be more black people in it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how people living. Look at the way the choices the majority of black people making. We need to have
Mm-hmm.
our stuff together before we even want a good system. Otherwise, a better system would just clean us up faster.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about clean us up and trying to get us right. I mean, put us back in prison. Like it's the fact that now people can be victims and stuff like that. Like why does society allow women to raise children in poverty? That's a chink in the armor right there of a system. Like as oppressive it is, it'll allow women to raise children in poverty, but it won't allow men.
Yeah.
Even though men shouldn't want to raise children in poverty. But the whole thing is the system allows things, but if it actually worked, and it'll be more like we're not prepared for the right system we want. We need to get our stuff together, and that's why other cultures realize no system will be fair. No system. That's why they have culture. They have a viable culture, because they understand that no system is fair, and the systems always manipulate the weak. Other cultures know that. That's why they have strong families. They have a strong business sense. They raise that into their children, because they understand that systems prey on the weak, all of them. For a system to work, there has to be an underclass.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not, we never lived in a world where everybody can get it. There has to be somebody to lose. Everybody knows that. That's why they have culture. They build these network support systems. If black people
Man,
can do
black
that,
people need the police. If you
yeah, we do.
if you were to take the police, and it don't even have to be a big town or a major city. I mean, definitely if you took the police out of places like New York, Chicago, LA, forget about it. It'd be anarchy in like 5 hours. 5 hours after all the police left, it'd be like 10,000 people dead immediately. But
Yep.
if you took the police out of a small town, if you took the police out of the county I live in, right? I think this county is, I don't know, maybe 1.2 million people are in this county. If you take all the police out of this damn county, do you know what kind of anarchy these Negroes would be laying forth on people? You know how many people would be dead? You know how many people who would be robbed, raped, houses broken, fires, stores? Man, black folks need the police.
Those stats
But
are already showing themselves in Minneapolis, where they reduced the police force. Those stats are already proving themselves, and not this fast.
I mean, come on. If they really believe, and like I was telling Brother Ramil earlier, do they really believe that black folks can police them damn selves? Yeah, right. Most of us can't even police the Negroes that live under the same roof as us.
Any
But
people
we
that don't raise their children cannot police themselves.
exactly. We can't even police the damn people that live in our house. But we're gonna police a block. We're gonna police a neighborhood, a town, a city, a state. Yeah. Please let me know where y'all have the rank and file Negroes walking around policing folks, so I can avoid that place at all costs.
Yeah,
I wish to
me too.
avoid that place at all costs. If
Me
it's
too.
just a bunch of y'all Negroes, y'all policing it, please give me the heads up so I can drive all the way around that place. Because
And
ain't gonna
everybody who
be
has a
nothing
brain
in there
does the
but
same
death and
thing.
destruction. Ain't nothing gonna be going on in there but death and destruction, man.
Everybody who has a brain agrees with you. Everybody who wants to be honest about the problems of black people agree with you. We're not discrediting that the system is broken. We're just saying that every system is broken. This is why
Yep.
culture This is why family, this is why personal responsibility means so much, because you will never get what you want out of a system. And what it's doing is people are putting more energy in hope in a system that would never be fixed than they are put in themselves. If we take this energy to complain and put all this energy to be emotional about white supremacy into developing some family values, some structure, being wise, making good choices, being productive, being, living decent lives based on
Mm-hmm.
logical outcomes. Even in this corrupt system, we would do astronomically better.
Yeah.
Astronomically better. That's a fact. Even if nothing changed in the system, if we changed ourselves, it's almost like we would force the system to recognize us,
Yeah.
because our
Yeah.
numbers we would force our presence into the system so much, just like the Asians did. They're the minorities, but they're structured. They get these
Yeah.
businesses together, they keep it in the family, and they buy up property, land. They do it, and they build the money, and they look out for their children. They set the children up for their futures. If we did that, like people even say simple things like black people just seeking to own a house and have a life insurance policy when they die.
Mm-hmm.
Don't leave your
That's it.
children nothing.
That's it. Doesn't take
If
much.
you claim if the world is so difficult, the system is going to chew them up, then why did you leave them with nothing?
Exactly. Because you built nothing. You built nothing. You let this white power structure, the big white boogeyman, convince you that you couldn't do it. You couldn't get out there and build anything.
Yep.
You couldn't get out there and own anything. You couldn't get out there and establish anything. So if you lived your life like that, that means you have nothing. So when your black ass die, what you gonna leave somebody? Maybe an old raggedy car, and whatever bullshit you got inside
Some
that
debt.
place. Yeah, and some debt. Because guess what? It costs a lot to bury a motherfucker
I'm trying
nowadays.
to
I
tell
know.
you.
I know. So
Same
I
here.
mean, that's all you're gonna leave them. You know, a lot of
And
us we don't think about that shit, man. We don't think about life insurance. We don't think about leaving nobody nothing. We don't think about investments, or we don't think about none of that shit, man.
it's funny because people think we're giving a pass to the corruption. No, we're telling Negroes to get their lives together because we know the world is ruthless. We know the world doesn't care. That's why we telling people to care and value themselves, because the world never will. The whole Black Lives Matter moniker is a fallacy. Your life
Hmm.
will never matter if it doesn't matter to you.
Exactly.
You're begging
There it is.
somebody to recognize something that is your responsibility to make known. It's your responsibility to force your presence on this world. That's every especially for men. That's what
Hmm.
we do. We impose our will. We develop skills. We develop some kind of niche, some kind of creative place where the world sees value in having us around. We force the world to deal with us because we create value in ourselves. That's how the
Hmm.
world works. That's how it always worked. If you're skilled, you have something to offer, people want to be a part of what you got going on. We see that in YouTube. Now, how can we see it in the microcosm of YouTube, but we don't think it works like that in the real world? People are literally changing their lives with YouTube channels, but we're oppressed with racism. Come on, man.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
think if the world was as oppressed as you think, people will be making all this money on YouTube, starting a channel, speaking their mind?
Yeah, I think the whole oppression thing is way overblown. I mean, I think we just kind of, I think we kind of wave that oppression flag way too fucking much. And when you're talking about your life mattering, if your life
Right.
matters to you, you're going to do the shit that reflects that your life matters to you. I mean, your life don't matter to you, man, if you out there shooting and robbing and doing all this nonsense, and your life don't matter to you.
Let me
Your
tell you
your
something.
life your life don't matter to you, man. If you're out there doing shit that can get you killed, that can get you locked
Facts.
up, that can cause your kid to get shot, that can cause your mama house to get shot up. If you're
Facts.
doing the shit that causes these things, your life don't matter to you. So guess what? Other people's lives probably don't matter to you either.
Right.
So why would you expect the police to think your life matters? when you don't believe it matters, or you don't believe any of the people that connected to you, you don't believe their life matters either, especially when you're doing shit that can cause harm to them. So for you to now turn around and think your life should matter to some strange white cop, to me is just ridiculous. But I've been saying that all night. Like, I don't know how I don't know how people can actually try to convince us that these people who lay dead in the street, killed by the police, they want to convince us that these people's lives matter.
Exactly. And it's like the world is telling you, the world is telling black folks that your life doesn't matter, so make your life matter. That's what the world is telling people. So you're believing the message coming from your enemy telling you to beg for your life, when you realize in the world is showing everybody that your life don't matter. Don't work. People won't care that you don't eat. Just don't work and see how especially if you're a man. I think the real attack is masculinity, and we're distracted with this. Look, we know the system is corrupt, and we understand, like, no one's saying that the system is not corrupt, but the issue is we're not building men who know how to deal with it, who know how to persevere through it. And as the weaker the men are, if even the system got a little bit better, it will still steamroll over black people. We need to get our men together. We need to. I'm just saying, like, and we know, look, we know the government is weaponizing women in their bad choices to create a cycle of weak, effeminate children and hoes and all this stuff. But us being men now have a duty to be the example of masculinity that they know, that we know the government and the media will never promote. That's what we have to do. We have to be doing it now. Ramil is a good example. That brother changed his life around, and he's just pushing men to have multiple streams of income, getting business. This man making beats. He's doing real estate. He's a good example of how somebody can overcome their adversity and their challenges in their life and make an impact in the world. Exactly. Like, why are we not using the people who've actually overcame huge obstacles in life, myself included? And I don't even take it credit. I'm grateful. Like, look, my grandparents, particularly my grandmother, helped me out a lot when my parents weren't there. And I took care of them both till they died. I watched them die both in my face. And I took care of them. They didn't have to go in a home. I sacrificed a good bit of years of my life, almost a decade of my life, to make sure that they didn't have to want for nothing. And I worked a full-time job. And I had other responsibilities. I didn't make no excuse. I got busy. I got to work. It wasn't easy. It almost took my health out. That's why it was a time on YouTube I wasn't even on here. I was trying to, man, I wasn't sleeping, eating. I don't know, people took care of people from a home hospice type level where I didn't want my grandfather medicated because the medication was actually killing him. And when we took him off medication, he lived 8 years longer than any doctor said he would. And then when he finally died at 90, the last 3 months of his life was very difficult because we had hospice and we knew that they wanted to medicate him. And as soon as they put morphine in the system, he's gone. So I allowed him to have a good quality of life 8 years longer than any physician or anybody else cared to give him. And it was hard, but that's what black people have to do. We have to get to work. We have to make these sacrifices. We have to prove that our families matter. Talking about Black lives, prove your families matter. People having kids, these are your kids. Are you putting as much energy in your children's life as you do begging your enemy to be nice to you?
Exactly.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, life isn't easy. It's not fair. It's never going to be fair. But we have opportunity. People are overcoming things every day. And it starts with them changing themselves. You can't expect the world to change if you're not willing to.
Yeah, you're right, man. I think we have a lot of energy focused on, shit that doesn't really matter. And it's almost as if, when it comes to the things that do really matter, we're off base. We're out of touch with, family and legacy and, having something for a rainy day, thinking long term, getting away from the instant gratification and all that kind of shit. You know, I think that one of the biggest problems with some of us is the failure to plan for tomorrow, next week, next year. You know, and I'm not just talking about money. I mean, forget financially. A lot of us, the financially, we're just ridiculous. But when I say plan, I mean, you know, plan your life. Have a plan. You know,
Right.
have it already figured out what you gonna do if the cops pull you over. Have it already figured out what you gonna do when somebody around you who you know love to tote guns and have cocaine in their pocket. Have a plan
Right.
for your life to kind of circumnavigate away from some of these crazy things, man, especially
Right.
if you're not about that life. And if you are about that life, guess what? A lot of the shit that comes with that life, man, you brought it on yourself. If you're a person that like to be carrying a kilo of cocaine and you got your 9mm in your pants all the time and you're driving your car with warrants and all that kind of nonsense, you're kind of putting yourself in a position to not only be confronted by police, but also find yourself a victim of the game as well. I
Yep.
mean, because these things don't have a retirement plan. The retirement plan usually is a bullet in the head and your mama going on GoFundMe. That's usually the
Yep.
retirement plan for
Unfortunately.
these type of things. So, I mean, if that's the life you're living, fine, that's cool, live it. All right, it ain't the life for me, but if that's the life for you, brother, go ahead and live it. But don't expect me to feel sorry for you when your ass laying dead in the street somewhere. All right. Don't expect me to feel sorry for you
Yep.
when they run up on you and shoot you because you shot one of their boys last month. I can't feel sorry for you. I cannot. You know what bothers me the most when people get killed? Because I never cared about, you know, because I feel like this when it comes to brothers killing each other. If y'all want to
Mhm.
go off, and kill each other and shoot each other, go right ahead. Go find a field somewhere and y'all take 10 paces and turn around and draw like they do on the westerns. Go right ahead. Just kill
Right.
yourselves. Do what you want. My problem is when innocent people get
I'm
killed.
telling you.
When
Exactly.
innocent
Children.
children get
Yep.
killed.
People,
I got a
old elderly people walking
Yep,
down the
and
street.
old folks get killed, man. People who didn't have anything to do
hmm
with anything. When it comes to the police, I get more pissed off when the police shoot a kid than I
Me
do
too.
when they shoot one of them Negroes out there who probably ain't nothing but a waste of life anyway. You know, I get more
Right.
upset with that. You know, I mean, I
Yep.
don't, people who are innocent, truly innocent, man, that's different. That's
And
different
you have to take
than this
your
other shit.
and we have to take being upset, and it has to begin with that, taking that energy to strengthen our own families. And we have to build first. We build on us, and it extends to our families, then our communities. We have to build from the inside out. You can't just go from the outside and just think you're gonna walk up to the White House and complain.
Yeah,
You have to do it from the inside out, and it starts with us changing our lives today. You'd be surprised the impact of one changed life can have on a world. One
yeah,
person who's changed their life can impact many, and we trying to change systems that have been in place for God knows how long, because these systems are all connected. Don't think
yeah,
that the United States, in the grand scheme of things, they're all connected into the same system. We ain't gonna go into that conspiracy, family bloodline, Freemason stuff. We ain't even going there. We just know it's corrupt. So
yes,
nobody is
very much
discrediting
so.
corruption. It just has to be dealt with from the inside out, because you cannot mitigate it, but you need to build a structure that gives you and your family the best defense as we deal with it on. I'm gonna deal with it on those levels if that's what you do. I'm not against people out here doing activism the right way or doing something, but it has to be reflected in your own life too. If you're doing activism and you don't take care of your own family, I don't have no respect for you.
Yeah, that's
I
just
bet
absurd.
all them people out there marching for Black Lives Matter and ain't caring about their children, but they'll go to a rally. I don't got no respect for you. Your
Yeah,
words are hollow. You more of a problem than white supremacy
absolutely.
to me
But
if you ain't taking care of your kids.
Hey, you gotta walk the walk, man. If you're gonna talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk, man. That's just
Yep.
common sense. And unfortunately, common sense is not common. And we see that a lot with black people because that's who we deal with, most of us, the most. I mean, a lot of us, we don't really have that much contact with white people. And usually when we do contact them, they the police. I think there lies the problem too, is that, oftentimes when we do deal with white people, those white people are the authorities. Those white people are the cops. It's not like, most of us are actually interacting with white people like that. If we
Right.
do, it's at work or some shit like that. Most of us, man, we don't have that many encounters with white folks. We just don't, most of us. When we do, it's the police. And what I think often happens is we get into this whole I ain't no slave, I ain't belling no hay mentality soon as we see this white face in this blue
Right.
uniform, and we get right into defensive mode because I've seen people escalate. I've seen
Yeah.
people escalate traffic stops, man, into something that didn't have
Ridiculous.
to be. It could have just been a
Ridiculous.
traffic ticket. You'd have got your ticket. That ticket would have been $200, and you'd have went on with your life. And it escalated into some other shit, and now you're in handcuffs. And now instead of one cop out there, it's five cops out
Yep.
there, and
And then
you see
and the
it.
more cops you bring out there, the more likely you might have a nervous one
Yes,
or
yes,
one that got something to prove.
yes.
But
The
if you
more
just got it,
police.
if you just look, I know people on both ends. They saying, well, you should know your rights and everything. But look, there's something called discernment, and you can read the situation. I personally think you should just be calm and see and let the situation present itself, and you'll know how to deal with it.
Yep.
Because sometimes you might get that white man that you think is your enemy. He might have just wanted to get his quota. This man got a family too. He might have wanted to just write up a ticket. Yeah, he chose a black person to do it. Yeah, it probably was unfair. But guess what? Based on how you react, don't think that how you react don't have an influence on some white people. Because I've gotten warnings too, and I might have been in the wrong. I might have been missing the headlight or anything that could get you pulled over, and they just gave me a warning, and they were polite. Now I've had
Yeah.
impolite cops as well, but guess what? I got people in my family that are good and bad. So if I got people in my family that are good and bad, then the police are just a different type of people that are good and bad. And you might get a good one, you might get a bad one. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, even if policy change, free will dictates that people will still have the potential to do evil. No
Yep.
law can get rid of that because
Yeah.
that's just free will. Some
But
people, suicide itself proves that people are willing to die.
yeah.
So if you can't
Yeah.
stop somebody from taking their life, then you can't stop them from taking yours.
Exactly. Exactly. All I know is, man, a goddamn traffic ticket shouldn't turn into a murder. All right.
Right.
A broken headlight shouldn't turn into a killing. Speeding shouldn't turn into a killing. All right. Unregistered tag shouldn't turn into a killing, man.
I'm
No
telling
one
you.
should die because someone's license plate is expired. No one should die because your inspection is expired. No one
Right.
should die because you got a damn tail light out, man. That encounter shouldn't end in a death. That
Nope.
encounter's supposed to end in a ticket. That's what that's supposed to end in. A
Yep.
ticket. How does it turn into a death, an investigation? And what we often do is we say, well, the cops are racist or prejudiced and bigoted and all that kind of shit. But the fact that you were pulled over for this tail light, and once you realize you're being pulled over for the tail light, you would think to yourself, even if you're getting quote unquote prejudice, racist vibes from the police, I would
Yeah.
like to think that brothers would say to themselves, well, this dude do sound like kind of a racist, and I ain't trying to die because I got a tail light out. I want brothers to survive the encounter. That is
Right.
my main thing. Whatever you got to do to survive the encounter, even if it means remaining silent, even if it means just sitting there listening to this dude. I mean, because you don't really have to speak. All right, you have the right to
Exactly.
remain silent.
You
When he
do.
come up, he asks for your insurance, registration, and licenses, all that. Promptly hand him that shit and look straight ahead and wait to see what he gonna do.
Yep.
And whatever he does, you go ahead, man, and you take that and you go on with your day. You go on with your week. You go on with your month. You go on with your life, man.
Or if you want to do something with it, do it in court.
Yes. You take that ticket and you move on, man.
Yeah, but you have to use discernment. And I think, guys, they get in these situations and they're so inflammatory until they don't think wisdom. Like I heard you and Ramil talking, like if you're dead, then it's over.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. I mean, whatever the cop did to you, there's a pretty good chance he's going to get away with it if you're dead. If you want them to not get away from it, you need to survive. You need to survive. If you want them to not get away with what they're doing to you, you need to survive that encounter. You need to survive that confrontation.
Right.
You stand a better chance of them not getting away with whatever it is you think they're doing. I'm gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, it was good, man.
I appreciate that $5 super chat, Lady Bap. She said, "Can Spiritual drop his link also?" Absolutely. Brother Hulk he's a mod here, so he can drop his link if you want to. Absolutely. I appreciate you coming through. It's always a pleasure. Brother Hulk, you need to come through more, brother.
I am.
More, man.
I am.
Come through more, man. I always appreciate your
thanks for having me
insights,
up.
man.
It was a great show. Everybody
Absolutely.
needed. Some people didn't watch it. Rewatch this one. It was a classic.
Absolutely.
So share it, like it. Get the likes up. This was gold. And I appreciate you what you do, X, man. It's great, man. You're one of a kind.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, brother. Coming for you, man. I received that. I receive it, brother. My man. Peace, brother Hulk.
All right. Peace, man. Peace out.
Peace. Yeah, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. But before we go, y'all know I always gotta hit y'all in the head with T.P.O.T's programming notes. Because we got a few good shows coming up. Hold on, let me turn this shit on. Yeah, we got a few good shows coming up for you Negroes. Tomorrow, as a matter of fact, the one and only Green Gorilla will be in the house. The Ask the Doc series returns once again. And y'all know how we do the Ask the Doc series. We get a PhD up here. We get a doctor up here. And we chop it up for a little while. And then they take your questions, man. Ergo the name. Ask the Doc tomorrow. Brother Green Gorilla, the G with the PhD, will be in the house. And he will be taking your questions. So you better have your black behinds here. 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Right here on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page. You Negroes know. Then next week, the debate that y'all thought was going to happen tonight, the debate that y'all thought was going to happen tonight, it will be going down next Wednesday, May 5th. Brother Bernard Riley from the Grown Man Hour will be here, and he'll be squaring off with Brother SKC, Supreme King Coon. They'll be throwing down, and they will be debating, is macro evolution scientific? Brother Bernard from the Grown Man Hour says yes. Brother Supreme King Coon says no. It ought to be a good one, y'all. So make sure you hear next Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the T.P.O.T. YouTube page. You Negroes know. But yeah, we're gonna get on up out of here, man. Good stuff tonight, man. Brother Ramil was in the house. As always, y'all already know what it is. As far as Brother Ramil is concerned, you know what you're gonna get when Brother Ramil is in the house. Yeah. Appreciate all of y'all coming through, man. I appreciate y'all sticking around, man, spending some time with us, man, watching us. Of course, I appreciate all the cash apps, all the super chats, and I believe I got something on the PayPal end too. I appreciate that as well. Y'all been hitting that PayPal lately. I appreciate that, folks. here lately, y'all been hitting me up on the PayPal game, man. I appreciate that. I thought y'all had totally forgot about that PayPal thing. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming through, man. I appreciate everybody, man, dropping their hard-earned coins on the platform as well. It's always appreciated, man. I don't take you good folks lightly, man. I never have, and I promise I never will. I appreciate all you good folks, man, and I appreciate all y'all support as well. Shout out to brother TVA, the village arsonist, and also brother Hulk as well, Spiritual Logic, aka Hulk. Shout out to him, and a special shout out to brother Ramil AMYR for coming through tonight and chopping it up, man. And leave some comments in the comments section, man. Whatever you think about what happened here tonight, man. I know a lot of y'all may disagree, a lot of y'all may agree, but y'all know how we do it up here, man. We give everybody a voice, man, and we talk about shit. I mean, that's the way we've always done it here. That's the way we always gonna do it here. And like I said, man, I don't take you folks lightly, man. I never have, and I never will, man. I appreciate all you good folks out there. All right. So with that, I will leave you good folks with 3 words, like I always do.
Open your mind.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
And so a community is where you control your police, you control your commerce, you control your education, you control your house. We don't control none of that. We live in a hood. Huh? Well, what about the Negroes that get out? Oh, well, see, my cousin, they say he's a multi-millionaire, almost at $1 billion. Three PhDs, working on 2 more. Driving down the street in Chicago in his Rolls Royce, enjoying himself, and he hears these sirens and looks to the mirror and sees this cop car flashing lights. He squeezed the steering wheel, man. Heart beats fast. Because he knows the price of a Negro, what it could be. And then when that cop car passed him by, he said, thank God he wasn't after you in the first place, Bob. That Negro thing you can't get away from. It's universal. They wasn't coming after you with all your millions, with your Rolls Royce, with your PhD, didn't help. That's the hood. Huh? Why do you think you never pick up the paper until you read over and over and see white families cry? You think of the thousands of black cops in America. Why don't you see white families crying as black cops shot my loved one 42 times in the back of the head? Why do you think black cops are that? You think they're more spiritual? Think they're better? No! They got enough sense to know that white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And I will stop in our neighborhood when we decide we will not tolerate it. Now, if we was organized, which is hard to organize people who are just gonna run crazy and you don't know you're crazy. But if we were, with the money we have, and the many people who would come to our aid that don't know what it's like to be a Negro, and we said, look, we saying, if we don't get a federal law to deal with police brutality, that any time a cop or anybody carry a gun, have to have a license just like you used to drive a car. And if you use it wrongly, you'll lose your license. And if it's upheld, you can never work again as a cop or a store guard or a private detective. How do you get Congress to push that through? Well, you take your economic power and you call on your friends, black, white, young and old, and say, this coming Christmas, if we don't have a federal law to outlaw police brutality by law. If we call them for a nationwide boycott of Christmas and it start on Thanksgiving, well, let me tell you what that means. 79% of all retail in America happens between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People stay in business all year, lose money just for Christmas, huh? Well, what happens now? Factory Avenue, Toys R Us, Sears and Roebuck, Westinghouse. They will get the bill, and all they got to do is make one phone call and say, Harry, that's the senator, I want that bill pushed through in 3 days. Okay, it's an economic thing. It's that simple. But we have the power, but the system has wiped us out so bad.
Hours of power. Hours of power. Hours of power.
Copy. San Antonio, Lincoln 6. Go ahead. Clear suspect down, 10-4. 10-4. The officer's code 4. We have one suspect that's been shot.
Open your minds.
Only from T.P.O.T. Media. Open your mind.